Take it easy. Get 2 Coke 12 packs for only $8.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Hafaday, this is Congressman Nicholas. Our office is currently visiting our villages, providing contact information for our office and taking any inquiries we may be of service with. All vehicles and staff are appropriately identified for your safety. Please feel free to let our constituent outreach team know how we can be of service to you, and thank you for your kindness.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the Office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Taking government surveillance to a new level. Researchers tell the Washington Post that's happening with facial recognition technology reportedly being used by customs officials to search driver's license photos.
The use of facial recognition technology by law enforcement is not new. It took off after 9/11, and based on the latest records, its use has expanded. The new records were obtained by Georgetown Law's Center on Privacy and Technology, and the allegation is that the records mark the first time Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, a division of Homeland Security, has applied the technology to state driver's licenses.
Fox's Catherine Herridge in Washington. There's bipartisan concern in Congress about whether proper consent is given, with a hearing expected later this week. ICE says it has the ability to collaborate with other agencies to obtain information that may assist in completing cases. The Trump administration not giving up the fight to add a citizenship question to the 2020 census, even though printing was supposed to be underway after a Supreme Court ruling that kicked the legal fight back to lower courts. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
This is about keeping, make America, this hat, make America white again. They want to make sure that certain people are counted.
But former Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach supports the president's push.
Look, if you have a district with 800,000 people, a congressional district, and they're all citizens, but you have another district over here that has 400,000 citizens and 400,000 aliens, you are giving the people in that second district twice the voting power.
Kobach filing the paperwork today, meantime, to run for U.S. Senate next year, joining a potentially crowded race to replace outgoing Republican Senator Pat Roberts. Recapping Wall Street, a sell-off, not quite as bad as it was during the session, but the Dow down 116 at the bell, right around 26,806. And Lisa Brady, this is Fox News.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data2Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data2Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Building a business is tough work. Big or small, Nanbo Insurance has your business covered. Nanbo takes the guesswork out of coverage to protect your investments. Over the years, Nanbo has worked with businesses of all sizes, from large hotels to small businesses. Nanbo Insurance will be your best asset. With Nanbo, you can also save big when you bundle up and insure your car, home, motorcycle, or business. Enjoy great savings, up to 50%. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for more details.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites: AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. A pedestrian was killed last night after he was struck by a car on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Guam Fire spokesman Kevin Riley says a report of an auto pedestrian accident came in at 7:48 last evening. It happened across the street from the Denny's restaurant in Tamuning. Medics responded, rushed the man to Guam Memorial Hospital. CPR was conducted en route. A group of people standing near the accident scene say they heard a loud bang and ran to the roadside where they saw the man lying in the road. Glass and plastic debris from the car were scattered along the road and the sidewalk. The driver of the vehicle, who struck the pedestrian, stopped about 100 feet away from the scene. Police closed 2 lanes of northbound traffic as they questioned the man and other witnesses to the accident. This was the 13th fatal traffic accident on Guam's roads this year. Federal agents arrested a Guam National Guard sergeant yesterday on child pornography allegations. 28-year-old Sergeant Jerry Thomas Guerrero II was arrested by agents from the FBI in coordination with Homeland Security investigations and the Guam National Guard. Guerrero was arrested while on duty at the National Guard Readiness Center in Barragata. He had previously been arrested in June of last year on allegations of engaging in sexual acts with a 14-year-old girl and recording video of those acts. A news release from the FBI states that the arrest was a direct result of the work being done by the Marianas Child Exploitation and Human Trafficking Task Force, which is working to prevent and stop the abuse and exploitation of children living in Guam and the CNMI. We'll have more news after this.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. Joint Region Marianas Commander Rear Admiral Shoshana Chatfield has denied a request from Governor Lou Leon Guerrero for a 6-month pause in the construction of one of the 5 firing ranges around the location of an endangered Cerianthus nelsoni tree. In a June 26 letter to Chatfield, the governor asked for construction on the multi-purpose machine gun range at Northwest Field on Anderson Air Force Base to be paused until December of this year, when a DNA report on the tree's ability to reproduce was expected to be finalized. Without explicitly saying no, the admiral turned down the request by writing in her letter that our mutual goal for protecting this tree has already been met by permanently distancing the multi-purpose machine gun range sufficiently far away from the tree. Admiral Chatfield went on to write that it is a testament to the military stewardship that the population of this tree has only been able to survive on a military installation. In her letter, Chatfield details the steps that have been taken to protect the tree, including successfully raising at least 30 Cerianthus nelsoni saplings, in addition to the 200 seedlings already propagated for outplanting in protected areas on Anderson Air Force Base. The Admiral asked the governor for her essential support for continuing collaboration with federal and Guam agencies and the Chamorro community to help ensure the success of these conservation efforts. The governor's press secretary, Crystal Paco, said the governor has declined to comment on Chatfield's letter at this time. The governor is off island this week in Chuuk attending the Micronesian Chiefs meeting. Acting Governor Joshua Tenorio and Speaker Tina Muñoz Barnes sent a joint letter to Attorney General Levin Camacho yesterday asking for clarification of his position on the legality of importing and selling CBD products on Guam. A flood of CBD-laced products have appeared on Guam store shelves since the start of the year following President Trump's approval of the Farm Bill that legalized the use of hemp. CBD is a derivative of the hemp plant. It does not have the same kick as its cousin THC, which is derived from the marijuana plant, but it does have measurable traces of THC, which has placed its legality in doubt for some. In their letter to the AG, Tenorio and Barnes wrote that it has come to their attention that the AG advised Public Health Director Linda Denorsi that the importation and presence of CBD products is illegal and it cannot be imported or sold on island. Guam Customs has followed suit by seizing the products and not allowing them to be distributed. The acting governor and speaker have asked the Attorney General for a written determination of his position on the legality of CBD products. Attorney General Camacho, however, has not yet responded to the letter from Tenorio and Barnes. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at weather.
You know, that CBD story, I mean, it's got kicked like THC. It's going to make your head spin at some point with all of the different finger pointing that's going on, and now indications that the actual word to begin to seize came from the Attorney General's office, from General Camacho. Hey, you're going to make it, yeah. It's only CBD, guys. It's all right. All right, let's go with the weather here. Mostly sunny, becoming partly sunny this afternoon. There's isolated showers and a slight chance of thunderstorms. Light and variable winds becoming northeast around 10 miles an hour this evening and this afternoon. Highs about 89 degrees. Overnight lows 79 degrees. Sunset tonight at 6:52, and the sunrise this morning was about 5:59, according to my weather watcher and Cosmos guy. Today, the last day of the sub 6 a.m. sunrises for the years. The days are slowly getting shorter now, so starting tomorrow or so, sunrise ought to be breaking the plane at about 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's right, and it'll come up a little bit later each and every day. By the way, sunsets will keep right around 6:52 until the 19th. And then the sun will start going down earlier, and that's when our days really start to shorten in a noticeable sort of way.
But the question is, are we going to make it through the 19th? Now, friends, if you're watching on Facebook Live, we always try to theme out the Dave show. Today's the names for the show is based on different things. Now, it's Tuesday, but not any ordinary Tuesday. It's Tsunami Tuesday, and the reason why it's Tsunami Tuesday is because my producer breathlessly comes to the studio this morning, all worried about the earthquakes in California.
Yeah, there have been way too many. We're used to hearing about earthquakes over there, and we had the 6.4, then the 6.9, and those really aren't the notable things. The notable things are the more than 4,500 aftershocks that have taken place. That's a really high number. You'll usually get anywhere from 700, 1,200 aftershocks, and that's to be expected. Yeah. And the kind of motion that these sensors are showing, they're literally showing what is it? The one plate, the oceanside plate, moving away from the continental plate. From the continental plate, which is kind of weird because they actually kind of move up and slide against each other.
But in this case there's no subduction there.
Yeah, there seems to be some spreading out taking place, or at least some movement that would indicate that Juan de Fuca plate is starting to try to get free of the North American plate. And if that happens, and we talk about the big one happening, there will be a tsunami generated that we will just not survive. There will not be a high enough point on Guam that you can get to. All of the Marianas Islands, all of the lower islands, Samoa,
just everything, because of the size of a tsunami that would occur if California actually fell into the sea.
Yes, it would be, all of your worst nightmares. So let's just have some more Kelligwin and beer and enjoy the day.
Go ahead, wouldn't it? Wait, make that bong noise again. That's what we need here. Calm everybody now that everybody's sufficiently freaked out. Quarter after 6 o'clock in the morning. Wait, it's not time. It's not. We haven't actually done the fun part of the weather. That's the part where I get to put up the images. And there is some interesting stuff happening up on the radar this morning. It looks like the eastern side of the island might get a little bit wet here.
Yeah, I'll try to explain this fairly quickly. Got some weak disturbances at the surface that'll be moving through today. A couple of them, as a matter of fact. The first one coming through now looks like the morning drive might be a little bit wet for all of us. Some pretty good showers out there. If you look off to the east, you can see those clouds building. This will hold together and move on through, so look for a wet drive at least through the first couple of hours. But it's very nondescript because on the satellite picture, we have no major weather systems to really concern ourselves with in our immediate area. Got blobbage down to the south and southeast. Models actually showing that to kind of hang around there and then spin up into some weird stuff next week, and actually may bring us quite a bit of rainfall. No storms or anything for us in particular, but we'll keep an eye on that. For today, just these weak disturbances coming through, maybe a chance of rain. So
Bank Pacific brings you the weather this morning. Banking on the Pacific for 65 years.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65% for travel, back to school, a wedding. Do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC, conditions apply.
Sorry. The commentary this morning on the Facebook. Love to get to that in just a second. It's already gotten me laughing. 6:17 in the morning. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by my pals over at Cars Plus up in Mighty. Drive by their place every day. And I love the way they've got all the cars displayed. They put the Wranglers up there on the stage so everybody can see them. But they got Compasses and Cherokees and Grand Cherokees. It's the summer of Jeep at Cars Plus. So check them out today. Get a test drive. Also brought to you by American President Lines. APL Global presence with a local home. Solar and battery storage now available to Guam homeowners with Micronesia Renewable Energy. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. Now it's Tuesday. And now it's Tsunami Tuesday. Ruby Tuesday's Tuesday. So here's what we want to tell you about today. 2 endless garden bars, 2 tasty entrees, and a dessert to share for a terrific price. Ruby Tuesdays, 2-for-1 Tuesdays offer 2 complete meals for a terrific value, $25.99. Available all day, every Tuesday for a limited time at Ruby Tuesdays, Guam.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Today, yes, I do. Okay, so I'll get around to poking some bears in just a couple of minutes. But first, we got to get the program started here, right? It's a groovy kind of Tuesday morning. How did you do with your Monday? Was your Monday all right? Mine was. I felt like I was under house arrest again. I got I finished up the program yesterday, did some stuff with the team, and then dropped the car over at Triple J. So that they could do it. The car knows when it's due for maintenance, and so I'm actually pleased because I'm dropping it off within, I don't know, a couple of days of the maintenance light coming on. Mm-hmm. Normally, I wait until the maintenance light comes on and then changes color and then blinks and strobes before I take it in. But in this case, so I went in and dropped the thing off, and they were really nice. Girl named Charlie with the most gorgeous eyelashes I've seen in a while, sitting behind the counter, took care of me yesterday, and then they you're asking for a lot today, Ray. I said, why? She says, well, you want us to top off the fluids, you're going to change the tire, we got to do the air conditioning work, we got to do the battery stuff. So it might be a little bit. We won't be able to pick up the car until about 6 o'clock tonight. No problem.
You could have bought a new car quicker.
But it got done. So anyway, they got a thing where the guy will drive you back to your office or your house, right? Mm. So I told the guy, take me home, and it was weird yesterday because it felt like I was under house arrest. I'd get up, I'd be like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going, you know what? Think maybe I'll run up to Benson, see what's going on up there, see what new tools they've got or something like that. And I look out the window and there's no car. No. That freaks me out. I've been a car driving guy for a long time, but got the car back and everything is awesome. Thanks to the guys over at the Triple J maintenance center over at Honda. Thanks for doing me the solid. I'll get my turn next time. All right, I'll buy next time. 20 after 6 o'clock in the morning. My buddy Michael Knight gets the phone when you call at 888-8255, 888-8255. Then you got Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post and a menagerie of incredible stories that are floating around here, and on the story about a pedestrian dying in a car crash. Another needless tragedy when you stop and think that there's a crosswalk just down there. It really isn't that much further, but there's that I don't know, the attractive nuisance of the things across the street that you're always going to want to be able to get to, and I get that feeling every once in a while, like, can I make it? Can I make it? And most of the time I can make it, and sometimes you can't. Fairly well lit area there as well, isn't it? I mean, it's not like one of the dark spots on the island. No? No?
That's right.
All right.
The fact of the matter is, in most auto pedestrian accidents, the fault is in the way of the pedestrian. You're not supposed to cross in places where there are no crossings.
And there's a lot of traffic through that area, and anybody that lives and works around that area knows how busy it can be. Interesting story about the FBI arresting a soldier at work here on charges of child abuse and exploitation to children, and an interesting, very interesting story about that one. moms and dads, check your daughter's phones. That's the long and short of maybe this one here, and find out who it is that they are talking to. And then the story on the no firing range pause, because we are fully protecting the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, the tree of wisdom. It's okay. There's only one left, and it's on the base. And I love the way Shoshana does the almost mental judo here, and I'll dress that up in a second. But first, we got to get around to saying hello to all of the people on the Facebook Live that I can see.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see the troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
I'm at the mall scene on Stranger Things. My binge did not go the way I wanted to, and I'm watching it a little bit more slowly than I thought I would be. So if you've already made it all the way through Stranger Things, don't tell me anything that happens past the mall scene.
I got through 2 episodes, and I just couldn't watch it. It didn't.
2 episodes of the first series, or this the series number 3?
No, just the first season.
Well, you just got to start all over again. You know why? You know, because you've grown up, and that's the whole point. Is you're grown up, and your eyes just you don't see the mystery, the magic, and it's just being a kid in the 80s.
It couldn't have had anything to do with the really bad acting.
Well, no, Ryder's great. Everybody is great in now. I'm sorry. I'll exhibit my bias after I'm done saying good morning. John Ray comes in number 1. There's Ismail at 2. Pam Duvall, number 3. Nice sunrise picture that Pam took at her place. Let me see if I can get that up on the screen for everybody to see here. So that's what it looked like in the backyard at Pam's house this morning around sunrise. Nick Pulaski's there. Hoik, Tony and Annette and Pinko, Ada, Juanita Machi. I got Patty is online. Cousin Troy made it inside the top 10 this morning. You're waking up early there, bro. Jennifer King, Heinley, I think is her last name, is online, or Jennifer Heinley King. And Ken Leon Guerrero and Ken LG, I will tell you this morning, has got just an outstanding editorial in the Guam Daily Post. If you have not yet had a chance to see it, I would recommend that you take a look at that, and because it's worth a read. We'll get around to talking about that as well. Who else is playing around on the Facebook Live? Oh, the picture that I just put up there, just FYI, that's a Michael Knight's sunrise picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you remember on the radar, we were showing a shower that was off to the southeast. Mm-hmm. That's that big cloud that's right on the right-hand side there. You could easily see it.
The big mushroomy-looking cloud?
Mushroom, yeah.
What kind of cloud is that? Is that a cumulonimbus?
It absolutely is.
Oh, it's a cumulonimbus? Oh, it's the plural of cumulus nimbus.
The cumulonimbi.
Cumulonimbi.
Yeah. They're free.
All right, I'm going for the definitions here this morning. 888-825-5888-TA, okay? So who else is playing around? I got Simon Sanchez there, Tammy Godwin, and Anita Muffness with the pretty Valentine's eyes. Ed Massey is on. Marge C. Johnson, good morning to you. Zaywert Frank Godzulian is online. Melina Mantunonia is online. I swear to God, I'm going to get up there to see Gino sometime. Smug Wimp is on. I got my buddy Nate Horn saying good morning, Guam. Debbie Y saying good morning, Ray and Kevin and Michael. So nice to start the day listening to the 3 of you. Well, I appreciate you being out there checking us out here on the radio and Facebook. Yeah, the check is definitely in the mail, Deb. James Lester Lonzo is online. I got Felix Regis, Michael Knight. Hey, I know that guy. Mingo Ree. James Sasai is playing around in the Facebook Live. Ken LG says, the Attorney General's office may determine that broadcasting a radio talk show over social media is illegal, and come for my mics. Listen, you know what? I am fully prepared to defend myself in that event here.
Thank you.
I'm a 2A guy, buddy. You can pry my microphone out of my cold, dead hands. Richard Leone is there. Randy Kruger is online. I got James Schmidt. It says, look into Troy Torres' story about some companies' CBD products passing through customs. Maybe I will, but the long and short of it is it probably would be okay if they pass through customs because it's legal. It is a legal substance in the United States of America. Somebody around here is making a big deal about it. And if you listen to Josh Tenorio, the guy that's making a big deal about it, they're raising the big stinky on CBD, might be the Attorney General, Levin Camacho, who apparently, at least according to one story, has directed the confiscation of it.
I think what goes on here is that some people have gone into some of these establishments that offer CBD products, and the labeling on these products is designed to be attractive to those who want to purchase it. So they have certain little names on there that will kind of lead you to think one thing, but in fact it's just CBD. And I guess these guys are not quite sure what CBD really is.
You know, to figure it out, just get aboard the CBD train. That stuff will cure AIDS. I'm just telling you. I'm more and more being sold on it day by day. Vivian Cunningham is on. You know what? It's not so much what CBD may or may not be doing for me. You know, as an athlete, somebody that is working out all the time, aches and pains and whatever. You know, I'm not big on aspirin. Anybody that knows me knows I absolutely hate taking pills. But if I can rub something there, or if I can, you know, if there's a salve I can take or something that might be able to relieve me of that, then I would prefer to do that naturally. Homeopathic, I guess, is the word. And you know, bristle at the idea that it might be hippie medicine. I don't care. It works, and it's not so much what it might be doing for me as much as it is what it does for other people. And it crosses the swath of our society here of folks that enjoy having a couple of minutes rubbing CBD oil into a spot in their body that hurts or that they want to make feel better. The people that I'm talking to that are involved in CBDs, as I said, you know, it ain't stoners and it ain't hippies. I mean, we're talking about just cream of the crop around here. Anyway, so Eric McKinnon's online. So is Vivian Cunningham. Rick Leone is there. Heather Perez, good morning to you. Ray Cruz, buenas. And NAP-Saipan, nice to see you online there. Pam Duvall, check out James Howard's page about tracking earthquakes. Charlene Marchessault is online this morning. Melissa Salasaki-Moto is there. Pam Duvall says, smoke out time. Sandra De Leon Guerrero says, yes, Kelliguen. Yeah, California is slipping into the ocean. But you know what? Kelliguen. What kind?
I was about to say.
All kinds. Let's put the buffet of Kelliguen out there and say it's the end of the world as we know it, but I've got Kelliguen and I feel fine.
But if you were on the beach in California and you could make one Kelliguen right now.
Penguin Kelliguen.
That's good.
Sea turtle Kelliguen. Whale Kelliguen. I mean, I'll just go after all of the stuff I'm not supposed to get. Dolphin Kelliguen. We'll make all of the things that we're not supposed to tell. You know, what's the big deal? We're all going to die anyway, and that's the end of the plastic straws, and that's the end of plastic trash bags in the ocean, and so we'll just go ahead and go out eating the last of their kind.
Is there shark fin Kelliguen?
I'm gonna have a barbecue, and I'm gonna use the wood from the fire tree up at the firing range. That's. Ismail says, if California falls into the ocean, it removes half of the presidential hopefuls from the list. Oh, you tease. You tease. Who else is playing around? I got Eunice Mendiola. Tae Kyung Kim is online. Ryan St. Nicholas. Hey, Ryan, nice to see you there. Yes, Sandra De Leon says, Triple J, yes, customers first. Oh, it's nice when everybody knows the logo phrase. He says while he's wearing his BMW shirt. Rose Green. Oh, I got Bob and Connie Bartonico online. Johnny Torres, Carmen Mendiola Paredes. Happy day from Valencia. This is the one from Spain. Has it cooled off in Europe yet? There's a major heat wave there in the last few days.
Yeah, Spain tends to be pretty warm in the summer anyway. Where they were suffering from the real warmth was up in Germany and Denmark and places where they're not used to it being so warm. You had basically some warm air advection from the south ahead of a cold front that moved through it, so it made things really, really hot for those northern climes.
Just unbearable. You know, that kind of heat just makes that German beer taste so much better. Pat and Norma Jean Flores, Dave Torrey's online. I got Janice Wong. I like to say Janice. Rudy Magallanes saying, good morning. You're up early. I'm so early here in the PI. My last day, then I go home. Well, we'll be happy to have you back here, and in good spirits and in good health. Sandra De Leon Guerrero. Well, on Guam, you could make turtle Kelliguen. That's right. There's somebody just, can you, and you know the type of person, they're just losing their mind. He's saying they're going to eat turtle Kelliguen on the last day of the earth. Last Chance to See. It's a great book by Douglas Adams. I recommend that you buy it. All right, so there it is. That's all my pals. You know what I realized yesterday? There's Facebook Live. There's the version that I can see here on the laptop, and it's got all these names of people that I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago. And then I noticed I was looking at the feed on the app.
Yeah.
And there's different names.
Like the dark version.
Yeah. It's the upside down Stranger Things version of Facebook Live. It's just weird. Anyway, so it's wherever you happen to be listening and watching, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm here, and I'm glad you're there. Right?
It's the Ray Gibson Show in a parallel universe.
Could be where the colors on the shirts are absolutely could be reversed. All right, so coming up next, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about how the Department of the Navy and Admiral Shoshana Chatfield judo chopped Lulian Guerrero. Stand by. It's time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. Guam lawmakers went back into session yesterday and approved two bills without much objection or much debate. Senator Therese Terlahi's bill number 130-35 appropriates $150,000 from the Healthy Futures Fund to keep the Guam Autism Center open and in operation. It was introduced by Terlahi at the suggestion of Governor Lulian Guerrero to make up for a problem in the previous Autism Center funding bill. The other measure approved yesterday was bill number 42-35, which was introduced by Senator Jose Terlahi. It assigns title to a lot in the DPW compound in Upper Tumon to the Guam Regional Transit Authority for the construction of a GRTA maintenance facility and office. Both measures were approved by votes of 13-0. Senator Mary Torres and Senator Talina Nelson were granted excused absences. Session resumes again today at 2 o'clock this afternoon. 22-year-old Colton Jason Shield, a U.S. Coast Guard service member, has been arrested on allegations that he exposed himself to a woman and her 7-year-old daughter at Fisheye Marine Park in Pee. The mother and daughter were in the observatory area when they looked through one of the underwater windows. When the mother told police, Shield swam up to the window and exposed himself. According to the magistrate complaint, 3 others who were swimming with Shield confirmed that they are all members of the U.S. Coast Guard, but they said they were separated from each other and they did not see the alleged incident. Shield was arrested and charged with indecent exposure. Guam Economic Development Authority facing another deficit in its operating budget when the current spending year comes to a close on September 30th. At yesterday's GIDA board meeting, Chief Executive Officer Melanie Mendiola said, "We continue to track a loss, and if that continues unchecked through the end of the fiscal year, GIDA will have a more than $500,000 deficit. If that happens, it would be the 3rd year that GIDA finished in the red," said Mendiola. GIDA is self-funded and receives no revenues from the general fund. A number of different initiatives have been launched to raise revenues, said Mendiola. Among those initiatives are the 5 properties the Chamorro Land Trust Commission has authorized GIDA to lease out commercially. If 4 of the 5 properties are rented out, that could raise about $90,000, said Mendiola. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Yes, sir, I will. It's 6:35, and that's iConnect time. Call iConnect and ask them about how they're going to save you some money on your mobile and internet plans. Their number is 888-8888.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Boy, you're looking at some celebrity birthdays for absolutely no reason. Yesterday, Guam Day, Kevin Bacon turned 61 years old. Kevin Bacon, and just, in your mind, go back to where you were, what you were doing around the time that we all watched Footloose together.
That's right, and calculate the 6 degrees that you're separated from
You are
him.
separated between you and Kevin Bacon. Still an amazing fact out there. Angelica Houston is 68 years old, and I'm sure everybody's got a favorite Angelica Houston movie. that is out there. But my favorite Angelica Houston movies are The Addams Family.
Oh, absolutely. Without question.
Beyond question, yeah. The absolute love in her eyes for Gomez, right? I mean, all the way. A lot of people think it's a comedy, kind of a dark comedy, that kind of thing. It is not. It is a love story beyond any other love story that you want to compare it to. And if you don't believe me, watch The Addams Family again and just look at the love in her eyes for her Gomez. Mon cher. Yes. And if you want to celebrate that, grab your own Wendy's Berry Burst chicken salad with fresh berries, feta, and grilled chicken. And if you don't want the grilled chicken, tell them to fry it. Make it a spicy fry one. They'll do that for you. Make them fresh every day at Wendy's.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant. Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
All right, let me look at the traffic gizmo here in just a second. I'm sorry, a little bit delayed. I'm distracted. I've got that thing going on where just everything is shiny today. I don't know, maybe it's a Stranger Things kind of Tuesday, or maybe it's the Tsunami Tuesday. Now I'm all worried about California falling into a sea, and Michael Knight says that'll generate a tsunami that none of us will survive. And I'm going, but I got stuff, man. I guess I better finish watching Stranger Things. No spoilers.
I got to get home and teach my cat how to swim.
Exactly. All right. So it's traffic gizmo time, right? Okay, let me just get to this here in just a second. All right. No, that's the noise that you should have played when Kevin was doing the newscast about the guy showing his junk at to the submarine passengers. All right, more on that in a couple of minutes. Now, I'm not looking at any traffic right now. I'll keep this one short. Traffic looks like it's moving smooth in all directions. Maybe a little bit of a slowdown just as you get to Devil's Point over by the Seawalker Tours and the gas station down in that area. But otherwise, things ought to be moving pretty good for you all up and down the island of Guam. Route 4 looking clear. Route 8's looking clear into the downtown Agutnia area. Marine Corps Drive from Dededo all the way down is looking pretty good. So enjoy the drive at 638 right now. Traffic here on the Point.
GPSI Guam is a professional services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're an SBA, 8A, and Hub Zone certified SDVOSB, providing program/project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. For large prime companies, contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
Yeah, talk to get it out. That's usually self-directed. That's where I am at, and in my head. And there's, as I said, there's just a lot of distraction around me, a lot of things to ponder as we make it through this Tsunami Tuesday, up to and including this one here. I refer to it as a karate chop, a judo chop, an almost mental judo on something. I'm waiting for the outrage to start. I don't know whether it will be real outrage or the fake indignation, but the letter written yesterday from Admiral Shoshana Chatfield to the Honorable Lulian Guerrero, Governor of Guam. Thank you for your letter of June 26, 2019, requesting pause of the construction of the multi-purpose machine gun range until December 2019, when the genetic study of the Ceranthus nelsoni tree is expected to be final. I share your concern for the mature Ceranthus nelsoni tree. But it's this line here that, in my mind, is the judo karate chop from the Admiral to anybody that thinks that the tree is going to slow down the process. It says, it is testament to military stewardship that the population of this species, which used to be distributed on Guam, has only been able to survive on a military installation. Do you feel the subtle kind of visceral take there? Basically saying, yeah, you used to have these trees all over the place, and you killed them. The only one left standing is here on the base under military stewardship. That's you know what that feels like to me. It feels like you remember when Dave Manning first started coming out here from Gershwin, Brickner, and Bratton. and everybody giving these guys a hard time because they had the temerity to be selected to be the receiver by the lady over at the court, and everybody, oh, it's so expensive. Oh, you guys mean it? Oh, you're going to charge everybody $30 a month, take away their trash, yada 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 yada. And the guy's saying, you're the one that screwed this up. You know, you guys are the ones that have had all kinds of time to take care of your solid waste chores and develop a system around here. We're just coming in here to fix it because the lady at the court says so, because you've dirtied the waters. You've actually poisoned your own waters. So we'll go ahead and clean it up for you. That's the way I felt when I read this. Testament to military stewardship that the population of this species, which used to be distributed on Guam, has only been able to survive on military installations. And therefore, there's no concern about the timing of the future construction of the multi-purpose machine gun range. And this is the part where my producer presses the button that says, denied. Denied. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. 6:42 in the morning. I get him. Calm down. And then there's the other part of this. Then there's the other part of this where she says, I apologize that during our recent tour together to visit the tree at Anderson Air Force Base's Northwest Field, we did not sufficiently explain the permanent protective measures and additional research regarding the tree. This is Shoshana's way of saying, I'll talk slow this time. I'll say it again, but slowly. Right? And then she goes on to talk about all of the things that they've been doing over the years to protect this valuable species of tree that nobody heard about in Adelup.
And you've heard about particular Texans now going to have a thing at Adelup on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. To try to call an end to the expansion, to call the end to the buildup, call an end to it all, because they're killing our land. All
right. Well, Johnny Gumatauta is online. I'll get to him in a second because they're moving forward with something I've got a vital interest in over at the court. Johnny, stand by. I did want to bring Cousin Troy into the conversation to provide. You got commentary on Shoshana's letter to the governor, Troy?
Yeah, I just thought it was brilliant. Like, what I couldn't believe was, well, I don't know. I haven't checked. I'm wondering if anyone thought the Syriensis Nelsoni to plant a few, like kind of like a common sense thing. If you're going to make a think about this tree, the best way to mitigate the damage to it is to plant more trees.
Let's plant, right. There ought to be Chelsea Munyabrecht over at the Department of Agriculture. This should be your priority for the rest of the day to go and find some seedlings. We'll go up to Rhoda and grab a whole bunch of seedlings because apparently these things grow like crazy up there. And we'll grab a bunch of seedlings. Every home on Guam needs to have one of these trees.
Well, I think that the biggest irony in this all is apparently if you want a seedling, you got to go ask the Navy because they've been planting the stuff.
Right?
It's the funniest thing.
It's crazy. We're gonna break our backs over this issue on the tree in this firing range. And Al, you were there in the beginnings of some of these conversations in the administrations. You've seen all these conversations. You've seen finally the programmatic agreement and everybody signing off on it and going forward. So here we are, on the cusp of the real charge of the buildup, and all of a sudden you get everybody changing their minds and looking for excuses like the silly tree.
But Governor Caldwell would have never sent a letter like that without, just checking all his bases and making sure, all right, if we're going to complain about this tree, we better plant 1,000.
Yeah, there better be 2 or 3 of them on the front yard of the Governor Ricardo Berdallo complex today. And we'll go out there and we'll get the guys out there and they'll blow on their little shell horns.
The other one, I was a little amazed that she put it in. I mean, it's just true what she says. I'm just amazed that she put it there. She said it's just a testament to military stewardship that these things exist only in military installations. I'm like, wow, them fighting words for that.
That's what in your face. That's it. You don't catch me outside. So wait a second. Now, somebody was asking on Facebook about you did a show about CBDs and maybe a vendor or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it was part of something that we were tracking down yesterday. We got some source information that while the Director of Customs has been seizing CBD products at the borders from these small businesses, he's been allowing the shipments of CBD products to a large distributor on this island. So it's not that it wasn't a matter of right or wrong about CBD. It seems to be from the source information that it's your typical favoritism or corporate favoritism going on.
Well, I know of at least one large company with multiple outlets, including one that's going to be opening up near my house late August, that had all of their product taken. So it ain't Payless.
Think beer.
Okay. All right. Also, we'll see what we can learn. I don't know. There's a lot of finger pointing going on that particular story, and now we've got the lieutenant governor that says that the source of the distress seems to be with General Camacho.
They're going to make a mountain out of a molehill, and it's really just such a simple solution.
Yeah, and it sucks because CBD actually works for a lot of people.
Yeah. I don't know what the big deal is.
Dude, that can cure AIDS. That'll cure whatever you got.
The government, and this is just another example about how the government fixes nothing.
Well, I mean, we got a brand new government in. We're 6 months into a new administration. Has your life improved?
No, because lots of people are still asking me where their tax refund is.
I got $3 million out the other day. Dude, I'm going to let you guys. Shawnee Gumatauta on the other line. You know he hates waiting.
Thanks. Good morning. Good morning, Sean.
Yeah, maybe one of these days we bring Cousin Troy in here. We'll do a tag team program. 6:47 in the morning. Shawnee Gumatauta.
Hey, good morning, Ray. How are you?
I'm tickled. I'm amused. There's much to be amused at. You know, it's testimony.
Early in the morning for the amusement, you know what I'm saying?
I got to get started early. Testament to military stewardship that the population of this species, the one left standing, is on a military installation. I'm sorry. There's every once in a while you just got to go. Way to go, Shoshana. You got it. But there's a story in the newspaper says electronic tracking for pretrial defendants to launch August the 1st.
Yes, Ray. So as you recall, the Guam legislature several years ago had appropriated funds to allow us to kick off the electronic monitoring program at the judiciary. It's taken us a bit of time to get the money, obviously, as with the financial situation that was facing the government. But once we got it...
You think the other two branches would start spending a little bit more wisely, huh?
I'm not going to say... Our budget's coming up. I'm not going to say anything like that. The idea is we got the money. We've been preparing, including the actual creation of the policy within the judiciary. And so everything is kind of underway. This week, believe it or not, Ray, Buddy U.S. is in Guam doing training with our judicial officers. They're also doing training with our probation staff, and then we'll be, reaching out to our stakeholders at the end of the week to get them up to speed on the program, and then our intention is to launch officially on August 1st.
Okay, so a couple of questions that I've got. Say I step in some kind of a criminal puddle between now and August the 2nd or so, and I am brought in, and Judge Sokola says, Ray, I know you're a nice boy, and you've been going through a lot, and whatever, you hurt your ankle, and so we're not going to send you to the Department of Corrections. Instead, we're going to let you have one of these electronic tracking devices.
You know, an interesting thing you say that, because Judge Sokola, who led our EM task force of the judiciary, probably won't be the one saying that. It'll be a defense attorney saying, hey, listen, Ray's been a good boy. He's hurt. We need to keep him at home. Once the defense will probably more likely be the person or people to actually request it. And then, of course, our team, the AG, will have to say yes. The probation team will have to see if it's feasible. One of the things, Ray, I think that's it's going to be important for us in this process is to make sure that, when we give a person a radio frequency device or a GPS device, either they have a telephone line at home, they have a power outlet at home. Obviously, you have to charge these things. Those are going to, and the process to do that, we're just about complete with that effort on the policy side at the court. So it's going to be important that in this whole process of, the adjudication process, that they ferret it out. But I will tell you that for the judges, the electronic monitoring devices isn't going to be their first blush, their first tool in supervision. It's going to be, they have a whole host of things. They have third-party custodians. They have house arrest. They have a whole other array of things they could do And so it's likely we'll see it, but it won't be as, hey, it's an automatic. It does take time for our probation teams to go out, assess, and make sure. Then you have to install the device on the person, and share with them the rules of it, and then they go on their merry way until their trial is.
So who pays for all of this? I mean, in my mind, in the perfect world, it would be the perp that would pay for this, charge that they would be responsible for.
I know that we've been on your show many times talking about the presumption of innocence. So at least in the pretrial side, it will be funded by the court. There are some cases where if a defendant says, and it may or may not be eligible, say, I'd like to have one, and they will develop the program in the fee schedule to allow them to be able to do that. And that, I believe, we're hoping this month in our Judicial Council meeting that would also be finalized as well.
Okay, looking forward to getting some semblance of what that plan is going to look like. Because I'm the taxpayer. I'm already if the guy goes into detention, I got to take care of the 3 cots and 3. What is it, 3 meals and a cot going in? And so there are going to be expenses for me. And my preference is let the perp pay for it. And relieve me, the taxpayer, of the burden of having to watch them. Now these the electronic monitoring devices, as they're going to be handed out, is that all they do? Is just monitor the location of the individual, or will it report? The guy left a geofenced area. You're only supposed to be at home or work, and you're not in these locations at this time. How will your probation people be notified that there's a violation?
So the technology will alert our probation team. So if a person goes out of a zone that was designated, for them to stay in, if they go into an area they're not supposed to go to, which generally speaking would have been a violation in the past, we get reported into probation. Now the devices will be able to pick it up real time, alert the probation teams, and the probation teams will go out and pick them up and then have to have them answer to the judge why they were not in the area they were supposed to be in.
Right. Because I've noticed that as well, is that there's a whole lot of these guys that seem not to have any respect for the authority of the courts and aren't even bothering to show up and meet with their probation officers on a regular basis. And it would be nice in those cases to say, well, I was sick, I was at GMH taking care of my mom, and then you can look at the electronic monitoring device and say, no, you weren't.
Exactly. And Ray, that's one of the important uses of this is that, it'd be very difficult for somebody to say, hey, I was somewhere else. Also, if they make the attempt to tamper with the actual device, then there's another thing, basically alerts probation that they tampered with it, and then obviously they'll have to pay for that cost of that, and they'll also end up probably getting back in front of a judge.
Do you need somebody to test this with? Because I'd love to volunteer.
You're out of luck. Our staff attorney, Christina Baird, did all the testing for us. She was all over the island making sure that it was working out and making sure that and she didn't just test that one. She tested all the devices and all the technologies that we bid just recently. So it's Ray, I would tell you that and I was just about to
what's a guy got to do to get arrested around here?
I'll leave it to you how you'd like to do that, but I'll try to make sure I get you guys down so you can actually see it as well. So
bring it by. Yeah. Have somebody. Have the buddy guys. I mean, if they're in town, just bring them by. Tell them I got this guy who works at a radio station. He'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, no, exactly, and that's our goal over the next couple of days is to try to get them out to meet everyone, and then to also basically talk about the technology itself and its importance, especially for us in our pretrial supervision. I know we all know there's other statutes, family violence, that this is also going to be having to work with. So all our judicial officers are really keen right now to make sure that our rules are tight, that our process, and believe it or not, it's a evolving process. We're not just it's going to be a policy. It's going to be you're going to have its hiccups, but we'll be correcting.
Anything new, you're going to have your friction points. But as an example of where I think something like this might be vital, is there was a woman got beat up because she had a restraining order against an ex-boyfriend or something like that, and he came and beat her up. If this guy had been wearing some kind of electronic monitoring device, and it showed that he was at her residence, and you could fence. I think you might be able to fence that in or include it into the prohibited area. Somebody from the courts might have been notified in real time that this guy was there in violation of that or the restraining order.
Yeah, exactly. But also remember, Ray, where medium risk offenders. Those are the guys that we believe are going to be probably the bigger candidate for this. High risk guys, I think, Rob. I think most likely they'll stay incarcerated. Low risk.
Well, the guy in particular, I forget what it is that he was busted for, but it sounds to me like he was one of these medium risk guys and clearly can't read a restraining order.
Exactly. So put an electronic monitoring device on them at the request.
Well, if I was somebody that was getting stalked by an ex, that would be. I would like that. Give me a restraining order, and I'd like to see if the court will allow for this person here to wear a device. I mean, I'm in peril and in fear of my life. Can we make this guy wear a device so that if he comes within 300 feet of my residence, then you get a message that says he's here.
Now, remember, when it comes to those kind of cases, I mean, these are for pretrial detainees. These guys, like you said, will be saving our government money by not being incarcerated. But I mean, so medium risk folks who have who are likelier to maybe to reoffend and following their moves. I think those are. I mean, that's going to be the goal. But there's other people like those that are not addressed by the statute, and so we'll definitely. I'm sure that's a policy decision.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, we're going to stick with what's the law set out, and we'll make sure that we're going to implement.
I know 8 people over at the legislature. They can make my ideas law.
Ray, you're always an innovative thinker, Ray.
Yeah, it's that evil laugh that pops up in the morning. Shawnee, it's always good talking to you. Got any soccer going on this weekend? You got anything nice to say about the USA women's soccer team?
Well, there's a bit of a break, and thank the Lord.
Did the girls watch the USA games in France?
Actually, they were way up before I was. I mean, I was watching for a moment, then I'm waking up watching the trophy presentation. I'm like, what the heck? Anyhow,
missed the whole thing. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Shawnee Gumatauta from the Judicial Center there in Agania. Nice news. Big news. I hope whatever the wrinkles are that they've got to sort out, they get sorted out. By August the 1st, they want to be able to put ankle bracelets, or at least begin the program right around there for ne'er-do-wells that we've got in this town that might not otherwise be eligible. I mean, we don't have to put everybody in jail, right? Wouldn't it be just great if we could take some of these jugheads and just to know where they are? And when the judge says, okay, we're going to let you don't have to go to jail, but you have to stay home, or you can stay home and go to work. But if you are out of these bounds, we will know about it. And if you show up at that place over there, because we know that's a meth dealer, we'll know about it as well, and we'll come after you and rescind all the nice things that we said about you and actually make you go to jail. That could be fun. My buddy Cosendo on the line. Nate Horn says, how about those who've been arrested 17 times in the last 9 years? I'd say that would be a candidate, but is it possible that that guy doesn't have any running internet or electricity where he lives? Richard Leon, judiciary uses modern technology, and DPD still lapses with this concept. Body cams, vehicle cams, video, audio strategically placed can track criminal movements quicker. Well, maybe we'll watch and see if, I don't know, we spent a whole lot of money on some dumb survey. Maybe we could have used that on some of the technology that you're talking about there, Richard. And there's more. And there's more. Nate Horn describing the letter between Shoshana and the governor and using the phrase, throwing shade. Yeah, that's what my daughter would have called it. Hey, it's look at the time, 7 o'clock in the morning, and we've barely scratched the surface on the table of contents here today. There's so much more to talk about. Plus, whatever's on your mind. Tell me what you're thinking about on Facebook Live, and love to take some of the comments there and turn them into some interesting talk radio. Fox News Live is coming up next. Kevin Kerrigan on the other side of that. Jerry Roberts in studio. Double Jerry Roberts today. I'll give you details on that here in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, we're KUSG Hagania. 93.3 is the point.
The countdown begins. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Today ends our presidential campaign.
California Congressman Eric Swalwell just dropping out of the race, saying he has to be realistic about the viability of the campaign.
But it is the beginning of an opportunity in Congress with a new perspective, shaped by the lives that have touched mine and our campaign throughout these last 3 months.
He'll seek re-election to his House seat after all, reversing an earlier decision. Swalwell's exit still leaves more than 20 Democrats running for president. President Trump defending his record on the environment. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
President Trump hit back at environmentalists who've criticized his administration for slashing air pollution regulations and backing out of the Paris Climate Change Accord.
Punishing Americans is never the right way to produce a better environment or a better economy. We've rejected this failed approach, and we're seeing incredible results.
The president touted environmental projects in the Florida Everglades and the Great Lakes, and also America's top 10 ranking in 2018 for air quality, the only country with a population over 50 million in the top 10. Lisa?
Thanks, John. New federal charges against Jeffrey Epstein, the hedge fund manager accused for a second time of sexually abusing underage girls, dozens of them, some as young as 14.
There never was, nor will there be, an excuse for this kind of behavior.
FBI Assistant Director in Charge William Sweeney in New York, where Epstein pleaded not guilty today and where he'll remain jailed at least until a detention hearing next Monday. In a Florida case a decade ago, Epstein got a secret deal and served 13 months in prison, but most days was allowed out for work. He also had to register as a sex offender. The handling of that case is under Justice Department review. This is Fox News.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE. The smarter choice.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agania Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fundamental Writers, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
Don't confuse American restraint with a lack of resolve. That message from Vice President Mike Pence to Iran.
We hope for the best, but the United States of America and our military are prepared to protect our interests and protect our personnel and our citizens in the region.
Speaking earlier today at a Washington event, this as the UN's nuclear watchdog confirms Iran's claim that it's breached the 2015 nuclear deal for the second time, going over the set limit on uranium enrichment. President Trump pulled the U.S. out of that deal last year and has been ratcheting up U.S. sanctions on Iran. A judge in Oklahoma says the state's lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson can continue, accusing the company of helping to fuel the opioid crisis by misleading customers about how effective or addictive the drugs can be. Attorneys for the company said the state's public nuisance argument should not apply in this case, but the judge rejected the motion to end the lawsuit. Texas-based ice cream maker Bluebell targeted again by a random liquor in Louisiana.
The Assumption Parish Sheriff says a second man posted a video of himself on Facebook opening a Bluebell ice cream container, licking it, sticking his finger in it, and putting it back on the shelf. This time, management was onto the liquor. Deputies found the 36-year-old Lenise Martin at the scene, showing the sales clerk a receipt that he'd bought the ice cream he licked. He's charged with property tampering and posting criminal activity anyway. Why has this happened 2 times to Bluebell? The ice creamery's package does not have a protective plastic seal, but they explain during production our half gallons are flipped upside down, sent to a hardening room where the ice cream freezes to create a natural seal, and so any tampering should be noticeable to customers.
Fox's Therese Crowley. The Women's World Cup champs, Team USA, just arriving back on U.S. soil, landing a short time ago in New Jersey. Among the celebrations planned, the New York ticker tape parade Wednesday. This is Fox News.
Valley Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Valley Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Valley Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Get a half gallon of Minute Maid orange juice for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K, take it easy. Get a half gallon of Dairy Gold milk for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K, take it easy. Get a $7 meal for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K, take it easy.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data2Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data2Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Federal agents arrested a Guam National Guard sergeant yesterday on child pornography allegations. 28-year-old Sergeant Jerry Thomas Guerrero II was arrested by agents from the FBI in coordination with Homeland Security investigations in the Guam National Guard. Guerrero was arrested while on duty at the National Guard Readiness Center in Barrigada. Guerrero is already facing allegations of criminal sexual conduct following an earlier arrest in June of last year. In that case, he was accused of engaging in sexual acts with a 14-year-old girl and videotaping those acts. He's scheduled to go to trial on those allegations in October. In reaction to Guerrero's second arrest yesterday, Guam Guard Adjutant General Major General Esther Agagi said there is no tolerance for depraved conduct in the Guam National Guard, and we will continue to work closely with law enforcement to root out predators and protect the island's youth. A news release from the FBI yesterday says that Guerrero's arrest was a direct result of the work being done by the Marianas Child Exploitation and Human Trafficking Task Force, which is working to prevent and stop the abuse of children living in Guam and the CNMI. Joint Region Marianas Commander Rear Admiral Shoshana Chatfield has denied a request from Governor Lulian Guerrero for a 6-month pause in the construction of one of the 5 firing ranges around the location of an endangered Cerianthus nelsoni tree. In a June 26 letter to Chatfield, the governor asked for construction on the multi-purpose machine gun range on Northwest Field at Anderson Air Force Base to be paused until December, when a DNA report on the tree's ability to reproduce is expected to be finalized. Without explicitly saying no, the admiral turned down the request by writing in her letter to the governor that our mutual goal for protecting this tree has already been met by permanently distancing the multi-purpose machine gun range sufficiently far away enough from the endangered tree. Admiral Chatfield went on to write that it is a testament to the military's stewardship that the population of this tree has only been able to survive on a military installation. In her letter, Chatfield details the steps that have been taken to protect the tree, including successfully raising at least 30 Cerianthus nelsoni saplings, in addition to the 200 seedlings already propagated for outplanting in protected areas on Anderson Air Force Base. The Admiral asked the governor for her essential support for continuing collaboration with federal and Guam agencies and the Chamorro community to help ensure the success of these conservation efforts. Governor's press secretary, Crystal Paco, said the governor has declined to comment on Chatfield's letter at this time. Governor is off island this week in Chuuk attending the Micronesian Chiefs meeting. We'll have more news after this.
The summer of Jeep, Compass, Cherokee, Wrangler, Cars Plus in Mighty. Your new adventure starts now. Buy the 2019 Motor Trend SUV of the year and get a new Jeep Wrangler Sport for $268 per paycheck. Or get a new Jeep Compass Sport, only $167 per paycheck. Let them hear you coming in the new 2019 Jeep Cherokee. Buy for $205 per paycheck. And get financing as low as 1.99% on all Jeep models. Come see why you'll be kicking it at Cars Plus in Mighty. Driven by you.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
11 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. Guam lawmakers went back into session yesterday and approved 2 bills without objection or much debate. Senator Therese Terlahi's bill number 130-35 approves $150,000 from the Healthy Futures Fund to keep the Guam Autism Center open and in operation. The bill was introduced by Terlahi at the suggestion of Governor Lou Leon Guerrero to make up for a problem in the previous Autism Center funding bill. The other measure approved yesterday was bill number 42-35, which was introduced by Senator Jose Terlahi. It assigns title to a lot in the DPW compound in Upper Tumon to the Guam Regional Transit Authority for the construction of a GRTA maintenance facility and office. Both measures were approved by a vote of 13-0. Senators Mary Torres and Talina Nelson were granted excused absences. Session resumes again today at 2 o'clock this afternoon. A pedestrian was killed last night after he was struck by a car on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Guam Fire spokesman Kevin Riley says the report of an auto pedestrian accident came in about 7:48 last evening. It happened across the street from the Denny's restaurant. Medics responded, rushed the man to Guam Memorial Hospital. CPR was conducted en route. A group of people standing near the accident scene say they heard a loud bang and ran to the roadside where they saw the man lying in the road. Glass and plastic debris from the car was scattered about. The driver of the vehicle who struck the pedestrian stopped about 100 feet away from the scene. Police closed 2 lanes of traffic as they questioned the driver and other witnesses to the accident. This was the 13th fatal traffic accident on Guam's roads this year. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
Thank you very much from our weather center, mostly sunny. You like the way that sounded? Like weather's like we got this like the weather center. We got places, cool. Computers, and all the things and measured dew points and.
And really, it's just a crazy, cranky old guy just guessing.
From the Point Weather Center, mostly sunny, becoming partly sunny in the afternoon, isolated showers and a slight chance of thunderstorms. Light and variable winds becoming northeast about 10 miles an hour this afternoon. Highs 89 degrees and overnight lows about 79 degrees. We watch the sunset tonight about 6:52, and that's where it'll park for a little bit as our days are getting shorter and shorter now. Still about the same length in the afternoon, but the sun coming up later and later in the morning. I got that from my man in the Weather Center. Let's go. Let's see if I can put our man in the Weather Center up on the screen right now. There he is. Now from the Weather Center with his interpretation of what it looks like on the radar, Michael Knight.
Your wet finger weather forecast. Looking at radar here, got some pretty good showers down to the southeast of us. That cloud I took a picture of earlier, it growed. It growed. So it's actually looking pretty impressive down there.
It's like the creature on Stranger Things.
Exactly. I'll get to that episode maybe. But that looks like that's going to bypass us to the southeast. But a few showers up to the northeast that might come on through your morning drive, so watch out for that. Looking at the satellite, we can see no large-scale weather systems. We can see the clouds associated with this little disturbance coming on through, and that'll move on through the rest of today. That'll enhance our rain chances just a little bit, but nothing widespread expected. Again, looking down the pike, no large-scale weather systems to deal with. That blobage down to the southeast looking kind of impressive, and it'll stay down there and may spin up into something that'll affect us next week. But until then, we are just looking at mostly dry trade winds.
Yeah, my umbrella's rusty. It never gets used anymore. Feel bad for it. Anyway, 7:14 in the morning. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65%. For travel, back to school, a wedding, do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender. Member FDIC. Conditions apply.
It's 7:15 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show, which is brought to you by my friends over at Cars Plus. And just a reminder, it is the summer of Jeep. They've got all kinds of Jeeps on sale there. They got the Cherokees, both of the Cherokee and the Grand Cherokee. They've got the Compass on sale. But in my mind, you say Jeep, I close my eyes and I picture the Wrangler. I'm not going to tell you what color the picture of the Wrangler is in my head because it's probably not as sexy as the color that you've picked out for the Wrangler in your head. Test drive it for real at Cars Plus up in Mighty. Also brought to you by American President Lines, where they are not just shipping the future. They changed out their tagline on me, and I haven't memorized it yet, but I'll get around to doing that before too much longer. American President Lines, global presence with a local home. That's nice. Also brought to you by Micronesia Renewable Energy, now with battery storage available for their solar systems on Guam. 632-2613 gets you a free consultation. And then happy hour tonight at Ruby Tuesdays. We've got 2 endless garden bars, 2 tasty entrees, and a dessert to share for one terrific price, $25.99. Available all day, every Tuesday for a limited time at Ruby Tuesdays, Guam.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Tommy Barcina's online. Chris Abalencia's there. I see Mary Cruz. That's nice. My buddy Chris Chip. Construction continues. Move along. Nothing to see here. Valine Iriarte is online. That's amazing. Nice to see you, cheeks. And where's my shirts? I don't know how we managed to do it, but like 2 times in 1 week, the woman was able to abscond with my shirt, including my cool Saipan Conquer shirt. Better not be stretching that thing out. Nate Orange online. I got Joe Cruz, Elmo Cotton, Mark Mendiola, Zita San Augustine, and Bob Robert Lizama is online. Nick Pulaski wondering if they get 17 DOC green stamps, they get a toaster. He's talking about the guy that was busted 17 times and on the 16th time was let out so that he could go and maybe now involved in a murder. My buddy Kaz is out there, and Rudy Magallanes. Now Rudy was on island when I'd come back from the Philippines and heard me bragging about one of the cool things that I did in Manila, which is a town in the Philippines. I was at Resort World Manila. And I decided that I wanted to go watch the movie Men in Black, the new one that come out. You know. And I was told that at Resorts World Manila in the movie theater, they have a VIP section. I mean, they got a whole theater that is nothing. It's like sitting in first class on an airplane. I mean, they got the seats that go all the way back. I mean, you lay down in these things. I mean, they got the hydraulics, so you can just go lay flat on the deal. And there is unlimited popcorn. You just go back and forth whenever you want to. You can ask the guy to go and fetch you a drink. You get a butler. You can ask the guy to go get you a drink, and if you like, the drink can be a Stella Artois that they sell out in the back. And of course, they got those really good Filipino hot dogs and dipped hot dogs and things like that. So just really nice. And so my buddy Rudy Magallanes is recovering from hanging out at St. Luke's or somewhere, and he went to the movies, tried it with the unlimited popcorn, giving you free drinks, loved it. When do we get something like that going here on Guam? And the cool thing about it is that one of the reasons why I don't like to go to theaters here is because we're all so jam-packed together, and there's other people in there, right? So you're sitting in there, you're watching the movie, and there's some yahoo that cannot put his phone down for 2 hours to watch a movie. And so he's got to look at it every 10 or 15 minutes, and every time somebody turns on their phone, it blinds everybody behind them. Yeah. You don't have that problem in the VIP sections because the chairs are so far away and so staggered, you can't see down into the next chair.
Well, that's because the Philippines is not stuck in an eternal time warp.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I'm just saying. All right, 7:19. See, we can say stuff like that on Tuesdays, but we would never say that on Fridays.
No.
Because there's no frowny faces on Fridays. And very few frowny faces around here. 7:19 in the morning, you hear the boy is somebody clearing his throat in the background. That would be Jerry Roberts. He's got the extra point coming up. in a minute or two. Is going to tell you.
I almost turned the mic on.
I'm glad you didn't. You don't need, no, you don't need to. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 old farty guys in the building here at 5 o'clock in the morning and at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it just the noises that you would hear if we did leave the microphones on for any specific amount of time at certain times would astound you.
It smells a lot like cheese and vodka in that studio.
And regret. Cheese, vodka, and regret. But you know that scene in Blazing Saddles? Yeah, we're not too far away from that. Must-haves for every workers. That's the theme in today's edition of The Work Zone with Jerry Roberts. You can only get that in the Guam Daily Post. Know what you're really good at, be a learning machine, take action, generate ideas, and then it goes, there's another 5 or so other things that you must have for every worker. You can get it, like I said, Guam Daily Post.
Right there.
Right there. And Jerry Roberts in the studio. We'll get to him in a second. I do need to tell you what happened on the markets today. A little bit of a sell-off on the Dow. In fact, all of the markets had sold off a little bit. S&P 500 at 29.75, off by 14 points. NASDAQ at 80.98, closing 63 points lower. Dow Jones Industrial Average loses 115 points, 26,806, but it's still swinging big for the bleachers. We're like one really good headline away from 27,000 on the Dow. I can feel it this week.
You've been saying that now for several days.
Well, I know, because it's actually because it's teasing me now. You know, we got up to 26.9 and now 26.8, something like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're within spitting range, because we've seen the market swing big. So it would not be out of the realm of possibility for a 200-point swing maybe in the next couple of days to push this thing over 27,000.
Yep, could be.
I'm just saying. All of the markets are down. FTSE, Nikkei, Hang Seng Index is down. Shanghai Index and the DAX. Everybody closing red this morning. So there's got to be some good news. You know me. My advice is always buy and hold. But in this case, if you've got some money that you can throw in the market, it is probably artificial reasons that these equities are as low as they are. I'd go out there and find some of the target stocks that you've been looking at and maybe buy them, because now that the market's down, could be getting those things at bargain prices. Then you hold on to them for a while. I was feeling bad about holding on to TiVo as long as I have, but it keeps going up. TiVo keeps going up.
Well,
I keep waiting for it to go down, because I'm talking to more and more people anymore these days that say, cable television, what's that? I don't need that anymore. I got the Hulu and the Netflix on the phone. I can watch Stranger Things while I'm standing in the line at the bank. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's where everything seems to be going, but doesn't seem to have so far a major effect on TiVo in the way that they are doing business out there. Looking at some of the numbers on the commodities, 57.51 yesterday's price for a barrel of West Texas crude, 57.46 today, so off by about 5 cents. And then Tappas crude, unfortunately, is frozen. It's Tuesday, early in the week. We should get a new number either tomorrow or Thursday. So that's what we've got for you into commodities.
You should hold on to your TiVo, and I have one word to tell you why.
Okay, go ahead.
AOL.
Oh, America Online?
People are still using AOL.
America Online. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get that. But mostly, what kind of service is it now these days?
Now it's just usually email, I don't think they offer quite the same variety, but they offer a secure portal to the Internet that many people like to use. But by and large, I mean, I haven't used AOL in 15, 20 years maybe? It's been forever.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
But TiVo won't go out. It'll stick around.
It will morph into something else, but watch for it to become more of an over-the-top kind of service as opposed to set-top. Everything seems to be moving that way. Anyway, so looking around here on the deal, regret, sounds like the morning after. That's the name of Mike's program on the bus on the weekends. Rudy Magallanes, Bitcoin above 12,000 again. So there you go. He's happy about that. Now you can pay for your trip to the Philippines. 7:23 in the morning, and about time for us to jump in and find out what's going on in the mind of Jerry Roberts here today for today's Extra Point, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and my friends over at First Hawaiian Bank.
It happens to business people, and it happens to students. It leads to major confusion and frustration. What is it? Well, today we look at the phenomenon of learning that seems to just disappear. Why do we forget so quickly, and what can we do about it? That's what we're getting into right now on the Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you.
At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
For the majority of people, information gained quickly becomes information lost. We read a book, take a course, and soon afterwards, we find that what we learned begins to slip away. This problem has a name, the forgetting curve, popularized by a German psychologist, Hermann Ebbinghaus. The curve is steepest right off the bat, day one, as our memory starts to lose chunks of data if there is no review of the material learned. Within several days, most of it is gone. Has it always been this way? Probably. But the issue of rapid memory loss of data we recently took in is said to have changed in the last couple of decades, courtesy of the Internet. Some researchers believe that since the web has become this massive repository for information, and it's always there, and we figure it will always be there, we may have subconsciously, maybe consciously, signed off on the need to remember things. Think about that. Why should I bother to work hard to remember something when I can just browse it to it the next time I need that particular information? This is termed recognition memory, the ability to know what I need and where to find it. This has become the new normal. In past years, I would download information, coming back to it for consumption. More often these days, I just copy the link or bookmark the page. I don't know if it's affected my recall ability, but I recognize that that's certainly possible. Binge watchers, beware. An Australian university study found that people who watch an entire season of a TV show forgot the content of them much more quickly than people who watched one episode per week. Quizzed a few months later, the bingers scored lower on retention than did the weekly watchers. Students who try to cram a semester's worth of knowledge into their head the night before the final exam rarely succeed. Yesterday, Ray mentioned the inability to remember a person's name virtually seconds after hearing it for the first time. Has it ever happened to you, where you just learn the name and you're having a chat with them, but you've already forgotten it? I'll admit that. It's not an age issue because it happens to the young as well. It affects every generation, and it has definitely gone viral. I said this condition has a name, and now I've been talking for 2 minutes. Do you remember that name, or have you already forgotten it? It's the forgetting curve. So, would you like a little help in how to absorb information and have a better chance for it to stick? Well, all right. All you have to do is... Oh, wait a second, we're out of time. So, that's for tomorrow. So remember to be here at 7:20. Don't forget, that's the extra point. Get out there and... What was I doing? For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. You never forget the names of the paying sponsors.
Never, ever, ever. Thank you very much. That was all written down there. Yeah, it's another interesting piece you got. The most interesting, my takeaway from that, though, was besides the clever end, thank you very much. It's a pleasure working with professionals, by the way. But the takeaway that I got is...
Who are you talking about?
About binge watchers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, about binge watchers. So Stranger Things season 3 is on Netflix right now, and I had tried to binge it the other day, but I had a number of distractions, so I have been watching it kind of episode by episode, and I got to tell you, yeah, I think you're right, because I binged the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things, and when I'd kind of gone back into a couple of the other seasons, and I don't remember some of that stuff happening in the show, and I thought, well, maybe there is something to that, where maybe if you build some time in between the episodes, you'll remember the series better.
Yeah. Tomorrow, the answer to some of these things, there's 2 or 3 answers, and I'll give that tomorrow. But it makes a lot of sense when you get down to why we do forget and how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I think you'll appreciate the answers tomorrow. But the point is, yeah, we're cramming all this information into our heads all at one time and hoping it sticks. It's kind of like, a pot overflowing, and you lose some.
But are we retaining the important things?
Well, let me ask you the question on binge watching. Can you tell me how the series started? Can you tell me some of the high points? And can you tell me how it ended?
Girl's name is Susie.
Okay,
that's come in, Susie.
That was it, right?
Yeah, I think that's the one of the first episodes. 7:29 in the morning, and they got headlines with Kevin Kerrigan coming in a second. There was another thing that I wanted to bring up with you, but I've forgotten it. Absolutely. Just a note, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you might see advertisements there for Cars Plus and a massive tent sale going on, and an ultimate flyaway thing with Current Guam. Ignore that, would you? I'm testing out a feature of our Facebook Live system, and that was a sampler that we used for this particular set, and I forgot to take it off last night.
It says 2-for-1 car deal. So
yeah, and I've had 4 calls about the flyaway. Thanks for that, brother.
No problem. Happy to help. Here, let me put something else up. This will be interesting here. Let me see if I can get this. The call to action here, and this is related to a story that Kevin might tell you about in the headlines coming up in a second. Calling all land defenders, water protectors, and people for peace. Join us for a protest to rise up in protection of our home. It is unacceptable that Admiral Chatfield denied the governor's request to pause construction on the firing range. Fuck, Mata, wake up.
Yeah, this is a situation where, sometimes you have to recognize that you have lost that battle and move on to something else.
Find a different one. Protest to save our ancestral sites, main freshwater aquifer. Our drinking water comes from here, endangered species, fishing sites, rare medicinal plants, and more. And so much more. It's going to be at Kipua Loop in Hagutnya tomorrow at 5:30 in the afternoon. So there you go. Wednesday night market going to be happening there as well. 7:30 in the morning. Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point. Kevin Kerrigan now from the Guam Daily Post. Here's headlines.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. Acting Governor Josh Tenorio and Speaker Tina Munoz Barnes sent a letter to Attorney General Levin Camacho yesterday asking for clarification of his position on the legality of importing and selling CBD products on Guam. A flood of CBD-laced products have appeared on Guam store shelves since the start of this year, following President Trump's approval of the Farm Bill that legalized the use of hemp. CBD is a derivative of the hemp plant. It doesn't have the same kick as its cousin THC, derived from the marijuana plant, but it does have measurable traces of THC, which has placed its legality in doubt for some. In their letter to the AG, Tenorio and Barnes wrote that it has come to their attention that the AG advised Public Health, that Director Linda DeNorsi, that the importation and presence of CBD products is illegal and it cannot be imported or sold on Guam. Guam Customs has followed suit by seizing the products and not allowing them to be distributed on island. The acting governor and speaker have asked the AG for a written determination of his position on the legality of CBD products. Attorney General Camacho has not yet responded to the letter from Tenorio and Barnes. 23-year-old Brian Mathis was charged with assault on a corrections officer. According to the magistrate complaint, the incident happened at the Manila Prison's Post 5 unit. The corrections officer instructed Mathis to return to his cell when Mathis allegedly hit the officer with a closed fist in the face. The detainee then allegedly continued to punch and kick the officer multiple times in the leg, face, and head. The officer suffered bruising and swelling and was treated at Guam Memorial Hospital. Mathis told police the officer hit him first in the chin and neck, but authorities noted that he had no redness or bruising. An internal investigation at DOC has been launched. 22-year-old Colton Jason Schild, a U.S. Coast Guard service member, has been arrested on allegations that he exposed himself to a woman and her 7-year-old daughter at the Fisheye Marine Park in Pee. The mother and daughter were in the observatory area when they looked through one of the underwater windows when, the mother told police, Shield swam up to the window and exposed himself. According to the magistrate complaint, 3 others who were swimming with Shield confirmed that they were all members of the U.S. Coast Guard. However, they said they were separated from each other and they did not see the alleged incident. Shield was arrested and charged with indecent exposure. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Studio time, iConnect time is 7:33. Call iConnect at 888-8888 and say, how are you going to save me some money on my internet and my mobile plans? And they'll tell you at iConnect.
Hafaday, this is Congressman Nicholas. Our office is currently visiting our villages, providing contact information for our office and taking any inquiries we may be of service with. All vehicles and staff are appropriately identified for your safety. Please feel free to let our constituent outreach team know how we can be of service to you, and thank you for your kindness.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Hey there. How you doing there? 7:34. Time to take a look at the traffic gizmo and find out just what kind of traffic nonsense you are going to have to deal with as you make your way to work. And but here's just a thought: as bad as it might be on the roadways right now, there's no school. Imagine how crazy it's going to get in the next couple of months after we get past July, and then we move into August, and they start talking about back to school. You know what? As I uttered the words "back to school," is there a young person around here, around you? Did they get kind of squirmy all of a sudden? They start going, oh, there's that ahead of me, isn't there? And that's how you'll survive it. And you'll definitely survive the traffic this morning. The only places that you're going to see any kind of slowdown is generally over at intersections. Fatima intersection of 1 and 3, over at the Jollibee intersection there, Marine Corps Drive in the usual spots. But I don't see any accidents working right now. There are a couple of places on that you'll slow down. It's not really an intersection as much as it is just kind of a place where people make that turn. It's that spot between Poke Fry and Venue that is giving people a hard time this morning. You'll make it past there. Recommendation, go ahead and make that turn over where the old Rainbow was and come in the back way into the downtown area. Might see a little bit of traffic lining up in front of Navy Hospital, and definitely traffic over in the intersection that brings you into Sumai Camp, the Navy base down at Sumai. It looks like things are very, very slow. Both directions exiting the base, definitely coming into the base as well. 7:36, that's right now traffic here on The Point.
Get a Coke 12 pack for only $3.49 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a dozen extra-large eggs for only 49 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a case of Circle K water for only $2.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
I got you. Let me take a second here and say good morning to folks on Facebook Live. At least the names that I can see at this time. There's a bunch of people. Lady D is on. Vanessa Flores. Good morning, Vanessa. Augustin Judikpa, family historian and archivist of everything. And wasn't it your grandmother that was recognized not too long ago? Over at the governor's office. That's cool. Rico Blancaflor is there. Chilorna Laron, Charlie Hermosa from American President Lines. Happy birthday to you, Charlie. Nice to see you and little Charlie Bella at the barbecue. Her very first barbecue fest down in Tumon. That was really, really nice. Smug Wimp online talking about his cable. He says, we dumped our cable when we moved to the house about 6 months ago. Haven't really noticed that you don't have it anymore. And there are people that are saying along those lines all over the place these days is I don't need the cable television. I don't need the bill. I don't need to have the set-top box. All I need is the internet to come into the house so I can watch it on my smart TV. That's what I got. I don't have a set-top box anywhere. I've got a box from GTA that brings in the internet, and it connects with everything else, security system and my Ring, doorbell deal, that kind of Internet of Things that they've got there. And then it also talks to my it's an LG TV. And instead of a tuner, it's got a tuner in it, but it's got apps in it. So I can go to Amazon, I can go to YouTube, I can go to Hulu, I can go to Netflix, and any number of other apps that they're supporting more and more every day. In fact, 7:38. My buddy Ken Leon Guerrero, the other Governor Leon Guerrero, on the line. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
So I was bragging on your behalf this morning about the what I consider to be a pretty solid editorial contribution in today's Guam Daily Post. Good job.
Thank you.
So rings familiar from a conversation that we had last week about the topics for your village meetings that are going to be coming up.
Well, in all honesty, I had hoped we'd never get to this point. I, like so many other people, had hoped that we were going to see real change happening into the government. But almost from day one, those hopes were dashed, gas dumped on them, lit on fire. And every day it gets worse and worse. And people have been coming up to me, what can we do? What can we do? And when I started talking about doing these village meetings, the topics that people wanted to put on the meetings, if I put everything in there that everybody wanted to complain about, we'd have like a 12-hour meeting. So trying to focus it in on where the people can take control of the government, starting with election reform. Because the majority of the things that everybody are complaining about are within the purview of our senators to fix or change. And the fact they choose not to fix or change anything.
I'm not even sure they're aware of it sometimes. I mean, just look at the legislative agenda, some of the things that they're going to be talking about, and I don't think they go far enough to address the real issues that we've got in this community with crime and drugs.
Yeah, I was just so disappointed when I looked at the bills that were passed in this past session, this mini session they had. We've known about this GRTA funding for 10 years. I was active with GRTA during the Calvo administration, and during the entire time of the Calvo administration, we kept trying to spend this $1.2 million, but the administration then had other priorities, so it didn't get spent.
Well, I tell you what, yeah, and I gotta love the passion. I gotta love the excitement from Senator Joe S. What was he saying? The other measure, St. Augustine urged passage of the measure and said $1.2 million in federal funds is available to build this facility over at GRTA. They'll be my new neighbors at DPW. And it would, quote, launch GRTA into an era of service like no one has seen on Guam.
Yeah. And
it's already at a level of service that nobody sees.
Yeah. I'm trying to visualize in my mind how creating an administrative office and a maintenance facility is going to improve a service that doesn't exist on vehicles that basically they don't even have the funding to fix, even if they had a maintenance facility.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't share that enthusiasm coming out of Joe S. here at this time. And don't worry, whatever it is that if we got to match some funds, we'll just make a new tax. It'll be another Joe tax.
Well, that's why, we as people, as citizens, voters, and taxpayers need to take control of the checkbook. And the checkbook lies in the legislature. And that's why eliminating the primary election will help. Because the primary election basically allows political parties to control who gets to run. Mm-hmm. And once we eliminate that primary election so that anybody that can get 250 signatures of registered voters will be allowed to run, that changes the game right there. Because so many of the senators I talked to that were running wish they didn't have to genuflect at the feet of the parties, but that's the only way they could get in.
Well, I bristle at the idea of having to identify as either a Democrat or a Republican. Neither party seems to be speaking to my needs as a citizen here.
Mine neither.
I'd like to be one of those, bull moose independents.
Well, when you look at all the coming into January this year, all the critical issues facing the island of Guam, and not a single one of them has been addressed in 6 months. But instead, we legalized gambling, and we made it possible for a bunch of mayors to hold stakes in the casino gambling. We diverted money away from Guam Memorial Hospital over to Guam Regional, so now taxpayers are supporting 2 struggling installations.
Well, just wait until we get to the brouhaha. We got B.A. Cruz, who denied the Department of Administration's request to move on with the bids that they've already got, and now that was on a technicality. I can hardly wait to see what happens when they resubmit that request with the appropriate paperwork. But it seems to me that we're going to be the government of Guam employees and taxpayers going to be in a world of hurt one way or the other. Because I don't see any quick resolution on this, and if I was an insurance company asking to be to hold over the agreement that I gave you already for 2 years running, the answer is no. Our costs have gone up. The cost of providing the insurance has gone up. So where is that going to come from?
It's going to come from your pocket, Ray.
Yeah. And why is it all cocked up? Because somebody over at the legislature had this brilliant idea that we were going to try to include everybody. And force Take Care's hand.
It was Tina Munoz Barnes.
Yeah, okay. Well, she wasn't acting. I mean, there were other people that lined up with her on that measure, fully in the knowledge that they did not have any of the financial data required to make a prudent decision. That's why I call them the 13 blind mice.
Well, that's why we need to make it possible for ordinary people to run for the legislature in the citizen legislator model envisioned by the four founders. I mean, 41 states have part-time legislatures.
Yeah, well, it's better be a part-time legislature because I ain't got time. I don't have the kind of bandwidth to support all of the monkeying around that the current crop of 15 are up to these days, and I ain't going to funerals just cause.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons why, because they have to give the appearance that they are working full-time for the people of Guam. But until you start dancing with them, like I've been over the past 12 years, and realize that 60-70% of their time is funerals, birthdays, preparing resolutions, people congratulating them on 18 months of sobriety. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. You know, I'm surprised you haven't gotten a resolution.
I can't go
the same shirt 2 days in a row.
I can't go 18 hours.
No, we're talking about your resolution would be Ray did not wear the same shirt 2 days in a row.
That would be perfect. That would be perfect. So we'll make it so that independents can run into a part-time legislature, and there'll be lots of us. It'll be up to 21 again, right?
Yes, because when you look at the way they spread the workload now, each senator is heading like 2 or 3 different committees, you know? And so, you know, master of, you know, jack of all trades, masters none kind of philosophy.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is we need to strengthen the judicial system. And the way we do that is we put 50% of the judges up for retention every 2 years instead of the current 2 judges every 4 or 8 years come up for retention. That's ridiculous. We need to get a tighter control, and then we need to separate the Attorney General's office into a People's Division, which would be the prosecutor's office, and an elected prosecutor. Then we have somebody whose vested interest is not just, you know, getting convictions through plea deals. It's actually protecting the public. And having an elected prosecutor who knows that his job approval and job retention will be based on the number of people that go to jail for quality time based on their crime.
I wish Scamby was doing better, because I'd like to see Scamby in that position. I'd love to see him just be the lock you up, throw away the key kind of guy.
No, I mean, I'm old enough to have been you remember I used to be a PDN reporter back in the 70s. And one of the people I covered extensively was Judge Abadi.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was a man. You remember the movie Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean?
Vaguely, but I know the kind of character that you're talking about, and that's the guy. That's the guy I want.
Judge.
That's the guy I want. I want a hanging judge in there. I want people to be afraid that if they go to the courthouse, this might be the judge that they run into, who is not going to take any of their excuses or fake apologies and actually apply some kind of judgment against them.
Well, I mean, we've got that guy running around with 17 arrests. And he's still running around loose on this island?
Embarrassing.
But if we had a prosecutor whose retention was based on taking people like that and saying that the time fit the crime, I mean, no more, oh, we've got a 97% conviction rate. It doesn't mean anything when 89% of those 97% are guilty and walk.
Well, so far I like all the ideas, even the one about going to 21. I hope it doesn't cost any extra, but I would like to see a legislature filled with 21 different voices, different people in this community that have got different things to say and different priorities that we can get together and address.
Well,
I'd love to see something like that.
This is essential because this is for 2 election cycles, I tried to talk people into running for the legislature. People that I thought had a lot to give to our community. And they all told me basically the same thing. You know, I'm not going to, the parties don't like me because I don't donate. And I can't walk away from my business.
The parties don't like us because we don't need them. That's why they don't like us.
Well, that's why eliminating the primary election, and then anybody could run, and they could, with 2 sessions. I mean, back in the old days, the 70s, they had a January session that was for all other stuff, and then the June session
budget
for budget.
Yeah. It's the only time my grandfather ever wore long pants.
Well, there was no time for soundbite legislation or issuing resolutions congratulating people for using oxygen,
Smug Wimp says, at least make it a senator from Dedido actually have to live in Dedido. Ooh, you want to go back to districts? Come on, let's do districts, bro.
Well, one of the things that, you eat an apple one bite at a time. The first thing is let's get control of the legislature.
Okay.
And let's put people in there that have something that they can contribute to this island and our people, and then we can start refining the process through subsequent elections, because it is the people's house. This is the legislature where we, the people, have the most power and control.
Well, I anticipate a hell of a fight if we try to do this administratively, so you better get your ducks in a row for a VIP voter introduced, what do you call it, proposal.
Voter initiative process.
Yeah, it's got a name. I just call it the VIP for short. 751. I'm all for that. Hey, a real quick question before I let you run here is: have you read the letter from Admiral Chatfield to Governor Lulian Guerrero?
I have not read that yet because I've been dealing with all this stuff. But there's one other thing I think that people need to look at, and that's the Corrupt Practices Act, because we can't depend on the government to investigate itself. I mean, you look back at all the things that we've uncovered that are wrong in the government, and how many of those people paid the price? 0. But the taxpayers paid the tab, which is millions and millions of dollars, just going back to the 2 CSC settlements. We're talking $1.2 million with attorney's fees because government officials violated due process, but they didn't pay for it. We are. No. That $1.2 million would have bought, 30 or 40 patrol cars for DPS.
Yeah, but we like to take our fights big bites at a time, and lots of them. I got to run. 7:52. Have a fantastic morning. I'll see you later. That's the other governor, Ken Leon Guerrero here, 93.3 The Point. And with regard to the letter from Admiral Chatfield to the governor, I'd ripped on this a little bit before, but I had so much fun I think I'll do it again. I love the way she says this. It is almost mental judo when she says it is a testament to military stewardship that the population of this species, which used to be distributed on Guam, has only been able to survive on a military installation.
Get up, it's Jesus Day.
Did you get that? Did you get that there, Gov? Yeah, you guys are so concerned about it. I don't see you guys stepping over yourselves trying to save this tree. No, actually, they actually cut down a nice tree. I don't know who's issued the instructions, but there's a really nice tree that used to provide shade over the back end in between the park and the Guam Lock and Key. Beautiful tree. And they cut it. and took away the parts. You remember when APL, when they were building that place over there, there was a tree there. There were all kinds of people going up after that. Well, you cut down a tree. My God, how do you cut down a tree? It's a tree of life. It's a tree of wisdom. It's a tree of knowledge. How is it possible you cut this tree down? And there were people that were hell-bent on it wasn't APL, it was Matson that was doing that. Hell-bent on Matson coming up with some kind of plan on the reuse, recycling of the tree. But we can just go ahead and cut down a tree in the middle of Marine Corps Drive. Nobody cares.
Did they cut down the tree?
It's gone.
That's what happened to Guam.
They cut it down.
Yes, now everything's screwed up here. We lost all our knowledge.
There's
good and evil.
Cut down smart trees. Just left with the dumb tanging ones. But anyway, so she says that, and that is an important point that needs to get made. Is hey, listen, yeah, we're just as concerned as you are about this. In fact, we've been working on it since 1998. So don't come to us and say that you are going to be the protectors, the stewards of this tree. And then she goes on to say, I love this second paragraph. I apologize that during our recent tour together to visit the tree at Anderson Air Force Base's Northwest Field, we did not sufficiently explain the permanent protective measures and additional research regarding the tree. This is Admiral Shoshana Chatfield saying, let me say it slower. I'll repeat myself, but it will be slower this time so you can get what it is that we're trying to say and what we've already done with this tree that nobody on your side of the fence seems to have known anything about since the beginning of time. 7:54 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. Good morning, Marquez.
Hey,
Buenos den Hafade. That's how you can always tell when somebody is patronizing you, when they start to speak slowly. We're not killing any trees here.
Not today. Yesterday, maybe. Tomorrow again.
I don't know. This is funny. I mean, how do you get yourselves wrapped up in this kind of axle? And there's no response yet from the governor's office. The smart move is to maintain the cone of silence over this issue and move on to a fight you can win.
Yeah. Well, your last caller, who was that? Ken LG?
Yes, the other Governor, Leon Guerrero, the unelected one.
He's nice. Amen to what he was saying. Election reform, judicial reform, executive reform. Because unfortunately, the citizenship has lost. We're second rate. I don't know what happened to customer service. I don't know what happened to common sense. It all left a long time ago or something. Used to be here, but now it's not. But yeah, I'm wanting to have a new party or organize a new party to be independent constitutional libertarians, the party of one. And I would love to see Senor Bob Klitsky run for Magahaga. He's a smart dude. He's
very smart.
Intelligent. He's on top of it, and get a bunch of independent legislators and mayors and whatever elected office. Keep B.J. Cruz in the accounting office there to keep us all accountable to whatever it is that we're spending. And maybe, we could turn things around. Right now is the worst time to be trying to go up against the federal government. Trump is doing a lot. He recently just sent the Department of Interior and Native Affairs to come and look at our sex trafficking problems, our homeless problems, our mental health problems. And, he's putting his money where his mouth is. As a veteran, I really appreciate that because his entire salary goes to veterans. And, Guam has so many veterans, whether they were the people like my mother and our grandparents who went through World War II when they saw the 3rd Division Marines come and liberate us. They were thankful, and they didn't complain, and they wanted to give the land up. Maybe they needed more compensation, but heck, most of them were either civil servants or military themselves, and it's been a blessing. And, not everything is perfect because different administrations have different priorities. But, the priority right now is...
What have they done with the priorities that they ran on?
I don't know. They know us yesterday, but they do not know us tamale.
But yeah, I kind of like the idea, and I get intrigued every once in a while when I park in the planet that is 21 part-time senators at the legislature. I really like the idea, and especially if there are more independent voices. I think the parties have done all of us a disservice over the last couple of years, and I don't know that we're bringing up any more people with any ideas that are going to generate good things for Guam. It just feels like more of the same. We get this whole pipeline of deputy director, then director, and then we're going to make you run for office, and then maybe we'll one of these days get to be a speaker. It's like you start at you start the thing in what is it, the junior legislature that we've got, and work your way up to be a senator or something like that. And I don't know. I think we need to have more people that come from the streets, come from the business community, and come from a variety of other places, including among the veterans. More veterans need to show up at the legislature and talk about those priorities.
Exactly. So both Guam, I nominate Bob Krisky for governor, Ray Gibson for lieutenant governor.
Second. I'll second that. I'll go to all the gay pride parties. You don't have to be gay to go to the gay. I'll go to all of those things because it just looks like crazy fun.
Right, and you can have fun and straighten things out at the same time, and bless us all.
All right, buddy. Listen, I gotta run. Chris, my buddy Chris Barnett over at KUAM wrote an interesting story about just how much is getting spent in the first 6 months of this administration to go traveling, go gallivanting on the taxpayer dime. I got to talk about that in the next hour.
Abortion doctors, we need a lot of them.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you soon. All right, 8 o'clock in the morning. Huh, how about that? Ray Gibson Show continues as we bring you now I almost said Facebook Live, but it's not. It's Fox News Live. And on the other side of that, Kevin Kerrigan with news from the Daily Post.
One fewer candidate. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The field of Democrats running for president gets a little less crowded. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, California Congressman Eric Swalwell left the 2020 race, quoting a famous author.
Louis L'Amour wrote in The Lonely Mountain, "There will be a time when you believe everything is over. That will be the beginning."
He says it had become apparent he may not make the debate stage later this month, but said he made his mark in the first debate, getting Democratic frontrunners to support an issue of his.
That they would support a ban and buyback of the 15 million assault weapons in our country.
Swalwell was only on the trail for 3 months. He will instead seek a 5th term in the U.S. House next year, Lisa.
Gernal, a court hearing in New York for Jeffrey Epstein, the wealthy hedge fund manager accused of trafficking underage girls.
The alleged sex trafficking happened on his properties in New York and Florida. Officials say the girls were recruited by Epstein's employees, some of them allegedly just 14 years old. Agents searching the financier's home reportedly found nude photographs of underage girls. If convicted, Epstein could face up to 45 years in prison. Epstein evaded similar charges in 2008. He struck a deal with federal authorities in Florida, allowing him to instead plead guilty to 2 state prostitution charges.
Fox's Brian Yennis in New York City. President Trump defending his record on the environment.
We're unlocking American energy, and the United States is now a net exporter of clean, affordable American natural gas. We're exporting all over the world.
But environmental groups criticize the president for slashing air pollution regulations, and he has backed out of the Paris climate change agreement. Wall Street at the close, all the major indexes in the red. The Dow lost 150, the Nasdaq off 63, the S&P down 14. This is Fox News.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Liberate your mind with laughter.
Budweiser presents Hypnosis Comedy coming to Guam Liberation Weekend.
Half a day, Guam. I am comedian hypnotist Rich Guzzi, and I can't wait to see you July 20th and 22nd at the Sheraton Laguna Hotel.
With local comedy legend Frank Rios opening the show. $25 general admission, $35 for VIPs. Tickets on sale at 76 Circle K stations and at Coffee Slut. Special thanks to Community First, the Guam Daily Post, Delta Tires, Trivision, and Choice Broadcasting.
You will have the time of your life.
Liberate Your Mind with Laughter is a GSPN production.
Iran appears to be in violation of the nuclear agreement its leaders signed 3 years ago.
Iranian media organizations said Monday Tehran is now enriching uranium at 4.5%, past the 3.67% limit laid out in the agreement. This brings the country closer to weapons-grade material. Speaking Monday in Tehran, the spokesman for Iran's Atomic Energy Department said Iran could increase the number of centrifuges it has or reinstall other nuclear equipment, both breaches of the agreement. The spokesman added that Iran has options to push enrichment levels even higher as the terms of the deal continue to be broken. He said those levels could go as high as 20% in the near future. A Kremlin spokesperson said Monday that Russia is concerned about the increased uranium enrichment and the increasing tension between Iran and the United States. In Jerusalem, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
This is French President Emmanuel Macron has now sent his chief diplomatic advisor to Iran in response to the decision. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announcing the formation of a human rights commission.
The commission is composed of human rights experts, philosophers, and activists, Republicans, Democrats, and independents of varied backgrounds and beliefs. It will provide me with advice on human rights grounded in our nation's founding principles and the principles of 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Harvard law professor Mary Ann Glendon will head up the commission. Pompeo says some international groups aimed at protecting human rights have, as he put it, drifted from their original position. But some are concerned because the State Department's own Human Rights Bureau had little input on this move. The man who accused actor Kevin Spacey of groping him at a bar on the Massachusetts island of Nantucket in 2016 has asserted his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination and refused to testify after being questioned by Spacey's lawyer about text messages that the defense claims were deleted. Spacey's lawyers are asking the judge to drop the case. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
The summer of Jeep, Compass, Cherokee, Wrangler, Cars Plus in Mighty. Your new adventure starts now. Buy the 2019 Motor Trend SUV of the year and get a new Jeep Wrangler Sport for $268 per paycheck. Or get a new Jeep Compass Sport, only $167 per paycheck. Let them hear you coming in the new 2019 Jeep Cherokee. Buy for $205 per paycheck. And get financing as low as 1.99% on all Jeep models. Come see why you'll be kicking it at Cars Plus in Mighty. Driven by you.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Get a free Polar Pop, any size, when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a free coffee, any size, when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get $5 off any Circle K car wash package when you purchase $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Joint Region Marianas Commander Rear Admiral Shoshana Chatfield has denied a request from Governor Lou Leon Guerrero for a 6-month pause in the construction of one of the 5 firing ranges around the location of an endangered Cerianthus nelsoni tree. In a June 26 letter to Chatfield, the governor asked for construction on the multi-purpose machine gun range on Northwest Field at Anderson Air Force Base to be paused until December of this year, when a DNA report of the tree's ability to reproduce was expected to be finalized. However, without explicitly saying no, the admiral turned down the request by writing that our mutual goal for protecting this tree has already been met by permanently distancing the multi-purpose machine gun range sufficiently far away enough from the endangered tree. Admiral Chatfield went on to write that it's a testament to the military's stewardship that the population of this tree has only been able to survive on a military installation. In her letter, Chatfield details the steps that have already been taken to protect the tree, including successfully raising at least 30 Cerianthus nelsoni saplings, in addition to the 200 seedlings already propagated for outplanting in protected areas on Andersen Air Force Base. The Admiral asked the governor for her essential support for continuing collaboration with federal and Guam agencies, as well as the Chamorro community, to help ensure the success of these conservation efforts. The governor's press secretary, Crystal Paco, said yesterday the governor has declined to comment on Chatfield's letter at this time. The governor is off island this week in Chuuk, attending the Micronesian Chiefs meeting. A pedestrian was killed last night after he was struck by a car in Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Guam Fire spokesman Kevin Riley says the report of an auto pedestrian accident came in at about 7:48 last evening. It happened across the street from the Denny's restaurant in Tamuning. Medics responded, rushed the man to Guam Memorial Hospital. CPR was conducted en route. A group of people standing near the accident scene say they heard a loud bang, ran to the roadside where they saw the man lying on the road. Glass and plastic debris from the car that hit him were scattered along the roadway and the sidewalk. The driver of the vehicle who struck the pedestrian stopped about 100 feet away from the scene. Police closed 2 lanes of northbound traffic as they questioned the driver and other witnesses to the accident. This was the 13th fatal traffic accident on Guam's roads this year. We'll have more news after this.
Hafaday, this is Congressman Nicholas. Our office is currently visiting our villages, providing contact information for our office and taking any inquiries we may be of service with. All vehicles and staff are appropriately identified for your safety. Please feel free to let our constituent outreach team know how we can be of service to you, and thank you for your kindness.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Building a business is tough work. Big or small, Nanbo Insurance has your business covered. Nanbo takes the guesswork out of coverage to protect your investments. Over the years, Nanbo has worked with businesses of all sizes, from large hotels to small businesses. Nanbo Insurance will be your best asset. With Nanbo, you can also save big when you bundle up and insure your car, home, motorcycle, or business. Enjoy great savings, up to 50%. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for more details.
11 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. Acting Governor Josh Tenorio and Speaker Tina Muñoz Barnes have sent a joint letter to Attorney General Levin Camacho asking for clarification of his position on the legality of importing and selling CBD products on Guam. A flood of CBD-laced products have appeared on Guam store shelves since the start of the year, following President Trump's approval of the Farm Bill that legalized the use of hemp. CBD is a derivative of the hemp plant. It does not have the same kick as its cousin THC, which is derived from marijuana, but it does have measurable traces of THC, which has placed its legality in doubt for some. In their letter to the AG, Tenorio and Barnes wrote that it has come to their attention that the AG advised Public Health at Director Linda DeNorsi that the importation and presence of CBD products is illegal and cannot be imported or sold on Guam. Guam Customs has followed suit by seizing the products and not allowing them to be distributed. The acting governor and speaker have asked the AG for a written determination of his position on the legality of CBD products. Attorney General Camacho has not yet responded to the letter from Tenorio and Barnes, which was sent late yesterday afternoon. Yet another lawsuit has been filed in district court against the late priest Louis Brouillard. The lawsuit, filed by a man identified only by the initials WY to protect his identity. The man alleges he was sexually abused by Brouillard in the late 70s when he served as an altar boy at the Catholic Church in Tumon. He accuses Brouillard of promising fast food and easier access to Boy Scout badges if he and others swim naked with him and submit to sexual abuse. About 220 lawsuits have now been filed against the island's Catholic Church alleging sexual abuse by the clergy. That has forced the archdiocese into bankruptcy. The bankruptcy court has set an end date for filing sexual abuse lawsuits against the church. That end date is August 15th. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at our weather.
It said from the Weather Center, the Points Weather Center. Mostly sunny skies, becoming partly sunny this afternoon, isolated showers and a slight chance of thunderstorms. There's light and variable winds becoming northeast around 10 miles an hour later on today. Highs about 89 degrees and overnight lows should be about 79. Sunset tonight, 6:52. It'll park there for a while, and the sun rises will get later and later and later in the morning starting today. So watch out for that. Maybe tomorrow is as early as, or as late as 6 o'clock in the morning. Michael Knight's going to take a look at the weather radar and give you an idea of what things are going to be like. I kept waiting for that one big massive clouds to wash over the central part of the island, but it skipped south.
Yeah, we're peering at the radar from the Duke Sky Talker cubicle in the Point Weather Center.
Thank you.
Nice, yes. Looks like that big area did kind of move to the south. Maybe the southernmost portion of the island getting clipped by a little rain or so.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to be dismissed. There could be some heavy rain falling over there. Also got a shower. Looks like it's getting ready to creep in around Anderson. So that's probably going to swing on through. And with those light northeasterly winds, it looks like that'll take a ride right on down the entire stretch of the island, mostly on the west side. So everybody might get a shower on their drive to work this morning.
How about that?
Yeah, looking at satellite, there's really not much going on in terms of large-scale weather systems. In fact, there are none at all affecting us. We do have a weak disturbance coming through. That's some of those light clouds you can see there next to the Guam pointer. Got some stuff off to the southeast, but that's going to stay down south, and so we really have nothing expected to affect us until probably around midweek next week. So we'll keep an eye to that and then see how it works out. Until then, just isolated showers and light wind.
8:14 in the morning. That's news and weather from the Points Weather Center and Michael Knight. Be right back.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65% for travel, back to school, a wedding. Do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC, conditions apply.
No. Well, if we've got a weather center, can we have a sports center? And Blake's asking, can we even say sports center because ESPN's got sports center?
And
I don't want to get sued.
And they're owned by
really.
and they're actually owned by Disney, so Disney doesn't really play.
Yeah, They got big lawyers. Their lawyers can beat up our lawyers.
We can't call it the Sports Off Center, though.
Can we? Well, I was thinking Sports Central. Is there anybody got Sports Central?
No.
Well, that would be the name for this segment. We could call it the Sports Central segment.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I got an earful last night from Renee.
Yeah?
Yeah.
About what?
We didn't meant there were like two big deals in basketball. Like a couple of guys that were named to the team. What's that Claw guy and and the other guy?
The Claw guy. You're talking about.
I don't know who I'm talking about. I'm just saying.
Well, she knows, but she knows better. She knows we don't talk.
How did you miss that?
She knows we don't talk about big national sports stories on this program because you don't care. Because you don't.
Having big local guys. I'd rather hear about my boy playing tennis in the thing. All the kids and the Va'az that they're rolling around in. So that's apparently
we barely even talked about the Women's World Cup. Barely. We basically just said the score and congratulations and moved on.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just saying.
Come on, Renee. You know how this show works.
Yeah. You've sat in that chair before.
Yeah, you've sat right here.
8:16 in the morning. All right. I got to do some commercials and then we'll get around to talking about or pretending to talk about sports here. Portions of the program brought to you by my friends at Ruby Tuesdays. And next time that I get an earful, can we do it over the Endless Garden bars with the 2 tasty entrees and a dessert that we can share. One price. That's the $25.99. 2 people are going to eat for that one price over at Ruby Tuesdays. Available all day, every Tuesday for a limited time at Ruby Tuesdays. Guam. Portions of the program also brought to you by the guys over at American President Lines. Global presence with a local home. It's the summer of Jeep over at Cars Plus. Get your hands on the steering wheel of a Grand Cherokee, a regular Cherokee, or a Compass, or the Wrangler in your favorite color at 1.99% APR at Cars Plus in Mighty. And also brought to you by, do I break here? No, I don't have to. Okay, so Micronesia Renewable Energy, where they've got batteries that now work with your solar system, and Take Care Insurance. Now break.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
Sports Zone. Right? I don't think we can get sued for that. The Sports Zone.
I don't like
this is the point.
Have you ever heard of a sports court?
Like sports court?
It's like a sports court. I mean, I don't like the name. I'm not saying we should use that name, but I'm just asking for my own, just interested, curious. If you've ever heard of a sports court. I grew up with a bunch of rich kids.
Yeah.
And for
Didn't it suck that didn't rub off on me. I was raised with a bunch of rich kids too.
Yeah,
yeah. Snables, Calvos, etc.
I beat up a lot of rich kids.
Yeah, I just none of that rubbed off on me.
Yeah, me neither. But they did have really nice houses and gated communities, and a couple of them, like right around middle school, they were like, "Oh yeah, come over this weekend and we'll play on the sports court." I'm like, "What are you talking
What's
about?"
that?
So they basically people shied away from just installing the rich people, installing tennis courts in their side yards.
Right.
So they started going sports court. So it could be tennis. It
Badminton?
Badminton. It could be half-court basketball. Volleyball. You can also do, like, if you do it long ways, you could do, like, a roller hockey thing.
Cool.
So, anyway, I just did. Anyway, so a couple of my friends in middle school and high school that I grew up with, they had sports courts in their side yards.
Right. So, some of my friends had those, but we didn't, there was, obviously, you played some of the other sports, basketball and things like that, and occasionally volleyball, but it seems to be, for the most part, the easiest game to play in any of those sports courts was dodgeball.
Oh, yeah.
And now here we are in 2019, and now nobody, it's politically incorrect to play dodgeball.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Why?
Everybody's just because dodgeball is one of the few sports where there's actually a phrase that says "smear the queer." And so it's one of those things where the bigger guys have always had an opportunity to take advantage and actually be allowed to beat on the younger guys. And I'm like, we all went through that one way or the others. And at some point in our lives, we were the one that was throwing the ball. We were the ones that was and there was always that opportunity to catch the ball, right? And get a life. So I don't know. It's like dodgeball is a great simile for life.
Right.
And it annoys me that there are people that I had it rough when I was in the 4th and the 5th grade because dodgeball, and now nobody else should play.
Because the 5th grade's rough anyway. Even
Right.
maybe what's one more rough thing?
People always want to try to be better than their 4th and 5th grade versions of themselves. It's too bad. Life's hard.
Yeah.
It's not fair. There will always be bigger guys and bigger girls that can throw a heavier dodgeball.
Yeah.
You're going to have to live with it.
Someone should have trained these complainers to not let the dodgeball hit you in the head so many times.
That could be it. But it was the softest ball in the whole school. You remember playing dodgeball?
Oh, yeah.
There was no way you could get hurt with a dodgeball.
One of the coolest sports moves I ever did was in a game of dodgeball. I jumped and straddled a guy that was throwing the ball at me. Like I jumped and it went right between my legs, and he was like 3 feet in front of me, and then I landed and hit him.
Kaz Endo's here.
Pretty cool.
Kaz is online as usual, lurking, and his contribution today is to call it the Sports and Beer Report. We could do that. We could do that. You know what, Kaz? You know what we ought to do? We got to figure out a way. And I've been bugging Blake about doing some kind of a sports kind of podcast or something like that. And I think that would be the appropriate way to do that. Is we'd find a place where Blake and I can get together, and maybe like Renee, and we can all just hang out, drink beer, and talk sports for an hour into our sports podcast.
I think it would be great.
I think Kaz could be in it
and you're right. You've been on me for a long time.
I have been on
sports,
for a long time.
Sports podcast.
We have studios. You're welcome to use the studios. But yeah, I don't want you drinking in the studio, so we'll do it at Tap House
location. Yeah. We'll go down to Tap House.
Just,
they got TVs.
Hey, Merrill, I need to borrow this guy for an hour. No problem. But anyway, so the Sports and Beer Report, Kaz may also be the one guy on Guam that could pull off, just to rub it in people's faces, a dodgeball tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Haven't they had those? They've had those before. I'm pretty sure they've had them down at the sand court at the beach bar. Maybe it was like a one-off thing,
right?
Like what I mean?
I get you.
But I know that there has been
like a coconut Olympics.
I'm pretty sure my friend Gaji, who plays frisbee, I'm pretty sure she's played dodgeball on the beach. Pretty sure she told me about that one.
We should ask. Well, but whatever it is, it's a long time ago, and nobody will remember.
You're right. It has been a long time.
So it will be our original idea. Ray Gibson, Blake Watson, and Kaz Endo, and we're going to have a dodgeball tournament. Mike can play too.
Problem with dodgeball on the beach is when you lose the ball, you have to substitute with a coconut, and that hurts.
You know what? Life is hard. What have I been saying? Life is hard. There's going to be guys. One day you're the big guy on the dodgeball, right? And one day you're the big guy throwing the dodgeball. One day you're the little guy catching it, because there's always going to be somebody bigger and better than you, right? So that's that's the story of life as told in dodgeball. Anyway, 8:22 in the morning. It must be time for Sports with Blake. Everybody is online this morning. Sandra de Leon Guerrero says, love it when my little one plays that at her school. She loves it. Yes, dodgeball. It is the sport of life. Kenny Williams in Sydney. His boy is playing. It's not sports, but it should be. His boy is with the territorial band, and they're down there still playing around in Australia. Just wowing them, I'm sure.
That is one thing, and not to get off on a nostalgic tangent or a completely different subject, but that is one thing that I do miss as far as local sports is the marching band, the band. You know, the band playing.
Did we have one?
No, I don't know if we've ever.
I did. I mean,
I had a band growing up in high school. You know, middle school and high school sports, we always had a band in the house playing. So anytime somebody scored or somebody did something, the band would play, you know, whatever.
Well, we got to get a band to play for the actual band. This is video, and I think we ought to be able to scare up the audio as well of the band performing down in Australia.
Ooh.
Is that the hit version of the Guam hymn?
No, this is from that one black and white movie where the guy's walking down the street. Remember that movie?
With that guy?
With that guy.
And the actress?
It was in black and white, and he's walking down the street to the orchestra music in the morning.
Okay, tell you what, we'll go put the cameras back on us. We can keep the music playing in the background. Thanks very much, Kenny. I appreciate that, and best of luck to you guys. You should swing by Fiji on the way home, or is it Samoa for the and play for the Guam team while they're playing?
Yeah, Samoa.
You got numbers?
I do. I do have a little bit of numbers. Let's see. Let me find my tab. Here we go. Let's see here. We have some, let's see. This is swimming. We got the 5K open water swim at the 2019 Pacific Games.
Oh, I saw that. There's a picture of them in the back page in the sports section of the Guam Daily Post. And I know that, unfortunately, the pictures were provided. I saw there's some kind of a pool photographer down there who is the absolute worst sports photographer of all time. He's got pictures of everybody's back. Before they're about to jump in the water. You can't see their faces. You don't know where they're from. It's just the backs of like 8 random people, right? So I'm like,
you know what that looks like to me? Because there is no context. And again, not to bring it back to the show, but I watch a lot of it. That looks like just a random picture from Survivor. You know, that looks like the things they build in Survivor when they go on their little challenges, their little swimming challenges.
Send a note, Kevin. Kevin, send a note to the photographer down at the SPG, whoever is doing the pool photography. Faces would be nice. The front of people, if you will. If you got to jump in the water to get the shot, jump in the water to get the shot. All the cameras they make anymore are waterproof.
The Pacific Games Operating Committee. That's who you got to take it up with. The final times are, let's see here, Maneri Gomez finished 5th in the women's division, but like I said, no final times as of press time. Yeah. But she did finish 5th overall, and Mark Emizu took 7th among all males. And I guess that Mark Emizu, he's the JFK student. 15 years old, the youngest competitor in the open water swim, and if you see that picture, Ray, he said that he was not expecting. Let's see, he was surprised by the quote big waves and rocky waters. So yeah, they're not just swimming in some nice Olympic pool and lanes. They're actually out there in the open water doing their thing. So congratulations to them, 4th and 5th place. The golfers are headed out. The final squad representing Guam and Samoa. It's all going to take place, let's see here, July 10th through the 13th at the Royal Samoa Golf Course, just outside of the capital city of Apia?
Still don't know.
Yeah. Going will be Kristen Oberiano, sorry, Kristen, Emiri Sungua, Ann Rose Tarpley, and Robert Manalo, Jonathan Anthony Munya, God, I cannot speak today, Eduardo Turlahi, and Ricardo Turlahi for the men's team. So that's who we got going. And like we said yesterday, Sunday night, the Pacific Games kicked off. So just a couple things going, and then the men's basketball team also slated, I think, for the end of this week.
All right, Mike, do you have anything on the GML? You're working on just pick the right time while you're taking a swig of something. What was that, Scotch?
It really was. We got the Game 4 of the GML Championship tonight at 7 p.m. at Paseo, and the Rays Expos. Rays lead that 2-1, and the Expos better hope they can win this one, because if not, they'll have to go home. It'll be all over.
So that's it. That's it's tomorrow or nothing, huh?
That's it. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. But if the Expos win, then we'll have a deciding Game 5, and I believe that would be on Thursday.
Did you now, Blake? Were you able to get any information on that the Filipino basketball tournament that's going to be happening this weekend?
I sent out an email and I also made a call, and neither was returned. So
Nobody, you know what? Nobody is returning anybody's comment, right? We got nothing from General Camacho on the CBD deal. We haven't heard anything from the governor's office. They're not going to be issuing any comment apparently on the lashing they got from Shoshana.
Well, the governor's off island right now. She's down in Chuk.
Down in Chuk? Yeah. All right. Well, so how much it costs to get down to Chuk? Because Chris Barnett did a story at KUM. Adeluke travel tops $100,000. Can you imagine that? And it's only 6 months in. So been a lot of traveling so far. Normally, I don't give you a hard time about traveling if you're a politician, as long as you come back with money.
Right.
So each one of these multiple trips that they have been on need to be underscored in terms of how much money the territory has gotten as a result of you getting on the plane, as opposed to, I don't know, sending an email.
Does she stay overnight over there when she goes to Chuk? The governor? Really?
I would. There's some nice places down there too overnight. Yeah,
cool.
You and
I've never been. I'm just
we've got a couple of mutual friends that go down there on a regular basis, and I know of a couple of people that's as far as they're concerned, that's diving heaven, because that's where they where all of those Japanese ships are. And so I've been threatening to go down there now that I'm back into the diving thing.
The Kurtwood Smith, the actor that played Red Foreman in that '70s show, met him at the airport. I'm like, oh, what are you doing coming out here? He was on his way to Chuk and Palau, which what he calls the holy grail of diving.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is.
So
And now you go ahead and rank them any way you want to. There's things to love about all of the destinations, Guam included. So you dive Guam for a little bit, you get down to Palau a little bit, fly all the way across the Pacific out to Chuk, do that, come back to Guam, and as you point out, there's a whole lot of that, and there's so many different ways to do it as well. There's a buddy of mine who I originally met as a runner, him and his wife as runners. I don't see them much anymore running trails and doing that kind of thing, because they found diving and they found underwater photography. And the last post that he made up on Facebook were of fishes I'd never seen in some kind of a tube anemone that I never knew existed. And he shot these while he was diving on what they call a liveaboard.
What is that? Is that like the propel?
No, it's you're on a boat. You're like somebody's yacht or something like that, and you live on it for like a week, 2 weeks, and they just take you to all these different dive places.
So
you map the thing out.
Kind of like a cruise.
And everything is taken care of: food, drinks, refreshments, entertainment, and somebody holds your hand while you're getting in the water. They got a guy that will spit in your mask for you, so you don't have to spit in your mask to keep it from fogging up. That's the beauty of it. That's actually one of the things that I want to try to do. The next, big diving vacation I
go
go
on. Be a mask spitter. Just spit in people's masks. Ride nice yachts and just spit in people's masks.
I'd be good at it. Do you want hawking or no hawking on this one? Right. How do you want it to go? What would you like to see in your particular spit today? I'm looking. I think Kenny might have given me something else on the deal on the Facebook or on the WhatsApp. Let me just scooch up and see if he's got Tumon Bay Youth. What? It's another video. Looks like it's okay. So it's not the other band. It's not that band. It's the other band. And let me see if I can get this thing going. Sometimes WhatsApp takes a dump right around 8 o'clock, and I'm not sure why.
It does do that.
I might not be able to get it to you right quick. Anyway, 8:31 in the morning. You got any other sports?
I'm good. Not till tomorrow.
Now, are there any big national sports, headline sports that we ought to talk about? Is there another big player? Is LeBron James playing in somebody's?
LeBron James is going to stay in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And Kawhi Leonard also went to. Here you go, Renee. Kawhi Leonard, the biggest free agent of the offseason, signs with the Clippers. His hometown is L.A., so it was speculated he was going to go there, just not sure if it was going to be the Lakers or the Clippers. And then in a big trade that sent Danilo Gallinari to the Thunder, they get Paul George, who is easily a top 10 player in the league right now. So Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and they immediately became odds-on favorites in Vegas to win the championship next year.
Yeah, it should be noted that the L.A. Clippers have really stocked up here in the offseason, and they're going to make a run for those Warriors in the Western Conference. So it'll be interesting to see.
I'm satisfied. I think that was plenty.
And then also here you go.
You got it started, bro.
And this next blurb, Renee, is why we don't do it. Free agent guard Ray Avery Bradley plans to sign a 2-year deal with the Lakers, $9.7 million. Avery Bradley will play with LeBron. There
I
you
used
go.
to work with a guy named Avery.
Did you?
Yeah.
Avery Bradley. He's a free agent from the Grizzlies, from the Memphis
I
Grizzlies.
saw him at the airport in the Philippines.
What happened?
No, nothing. He was
He was just there?
Yeah, we were both flying out at the same time. We'll go into the break with another piece of video that our buddy Kenny Williams shot down in Australia. More kids from Guam making noise down there. Go ahead and lift that up for a second. We'll run that before we get into the break.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant. Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
I just think it would be wicked cool if somebody had actually had like a studio recording of what our Guam guys sounded like at the Sydney Opera House. I mean, even if hearing it from a telephone that 20 feet away from the orchestra pit, and it sounds good. Even Kevin Kerrigan thinks so. But I'm just thinking, it's one of those things you are playing at the top of your game if you're playing at the Sydney Opera House. It's 8:34 in the morning, and time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. His last look with Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. 22-year-old Colton Jason Schild, a U.S. Coast Guard service member, has been arrested on allegations that he exposed himself to a woman and her 7-year-old daughter at Fisheye Marine Park in Pee. The mother and daughter were in the observatory area when they looked through one of the underwater windows when the mother told police that Shield swam up to the window and exposed himself. According to the magistrate complaint, 3 others who were with Shield, swimming with him, confirmed that they are all members of the U.S. Coast Guard. They said they were separated from each other and they didn't see the alleged incident. Shield was arrested and charged with indecent exposure. 23-year-old Brian Matthews was charged with assault on a corrections officer. According to the magistrate complaint, the officer instructed Matthews to return to his cell. When Matthews hit the officer with a closed fist in the face, the detainee continued to punch and kick the officer multiple times in the leg and face and head, according to the complaint. The officer suffered bruising and swelling and was treated at Guam Memorial Hospital. Mathias told police the officer hit him first in the chin and neck, but authorities noted that he had no redness or bruising. An internal investigation into the incident has been launched at DOC. Guam Economic Development Authority facing another deficit in its operating budget when the current spending year comes to a close September 30th. At yesterday's GIDA board meeting, Chief Executive Officer Melanie Mendiola said, "We continue to track a loss, and if that continues unchecked through the end of the fiscal year, GIDA will have a more than $500,000 deficit. If that happens, it would be the 3rd year in a row that GIDA finished in the red." GIDA is self-funded, receives no revenue from the general fund. A number of different initiatives, said Mendiola, have been launched to raise revenues. Among those initiatives are the 5 properties the Chamorro Land Trust Commission has authorized GIDA to lease out commercially. If only 4 of the 5 properties are rented out, that could raise about $90,000, said Mendiola, and help close the gap. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Thanks, Kev. 8:36, that's iConnect time. Run to the nearest iConnect and ask them about how they're going to save you money with your internet and mobile plans. Or call them at 888-8888.
GPSI Guam is a professional services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're an SBA, 8A, and Hub Zone certified SDVOSB, providing program/project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. For large prime companies, contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
Traffic Gizmo time from the traffic center. I don't know. I'm just infatuated with that sound. What have I got? Nothing. I got nothing happening on Guam's roadways. Just some intersection noise on the traffic deal here. And the only spot that it looks like traffic is at a virtual standstill is the front part of Big Navy down in Sumai. It's always busy up there. Looking around at traffic in front of Navy Hospital, a little bit of traffic in both directions if you're trying to get into and out of that one good turn into Agana Heights. That might slow you down a little bit over in the Tutuhan side and a little bit of traffic from over by where the venue is towards Marine Corps Drive. It seems to be a lot of traffic lining up on that side of the street. Don't know why. It just is moving a little bit slower. You'll also see some traffic moving slower over at the Market Day store down on Route 8, Route 10. Looking all right. Route 15. And that's the weird one that goes through Dairy Road. There's a lot of stop and go action through there. Maybe just a lot of additional traffic. Don't know why. And over at Payless and in Manilao, in between, you get Domino's over here, Payless over there, KFC on the other side. A lot of traffic seems to be slowing down at that intersection in both directions. So just watch out for it. Would you please? Actually, it's not that intersection. It's the one closer to the university. Got it. Now, 8:38. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 data-to-go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The U.S., China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is data-to-go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
What's broken here yet so far? Nothing broken? I lose any friends? Possible. Vicky Cordova's online. Nice to see you there. And Sandra De Leon Guerrero writing this morning, such an honor to play band in a different country. Beautiful. Mr. Laguetnia at PD Middle School was my awesome conductor. Big Sister Shelley online. Lynn Paris is there. Cheryl Ochai. Lynn, are you back? I was doing round call on the WhatsApp, and it seems to me that there's still a couple of people that might not be in town. Cheryl Ochai is there. I see Gina Kono playing around with the game. Boris Hertzlet, who is what's that? The beach at Dodge. Ah, there it is. So we were talking earlier about dodgeball and maybe putting together some kind of a dodgeball tournament. It is Blake Watson's idea. His suspicion that it has been done before, and as a matter of fact, it has been done before. My buddy. Says, Dig and Dodge, Guam's official dodgeball tournament. And the last one looks like it's an actual event that somebody put on Facebook back in 2012. So a summertime activity, 2012. It was done at the beach, at Gun Beach, once upon a time. So that's cool, if you ask me. But if nobody's done it in an awful long time, then guess what? Chicken butt. Me and Kaz and Blake, we'll have our very the first ever official return to the Guam Dodgeball Tournament, and since I'm doing it, I'll get killer prizes, and we'll have ambulances standing by for the snowflakes that won't be able to handle having a dodgeball thrown at them at full speed, top speed, assault dodgeball. Dude, we got to find out what are the Australian there's got to be Australian rules for dodgeball, right? We got to find that out. Anyway, 8:41 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. One of the other happy pieces of news that we got yesterday was that the Department of Labor has got $500,000 coming in to support. I appreciate this. Some training, some kind of OJT for people that might be displaced, among other members of the population that could use some retraining. I got Dave Del Sola from the Department of Labor on the line. Good morning, Dave.
Hey, good morning, Ray. How you doing?
You know what? I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. I don't have the Admiral of the Navy writing letters to me.
Well, then you and me both. So.
Yeah. We just keep that on the down low here. But anyway, but I was delighted to get a press release yesterday that was talking about how DOL's got their hands on was it $462,000 that's going to go to doing some training. Where's that money come from? Because I don't remember you guys having a bake sale recently.
U.S. Department of Labor, Employment and Training Administration.
Mm-hmm.
It's another round and something that we've been aggressively pushing. And even the governor, when she was in San Francisco and D.C., was always pushing the apprenticeship way of employment. And we're having great success. And I've always been excited about it since back in when I was the AHRD director, and we were first awarded being the state apprentice office. So it's been something that has been maturing, and I think is a great opportunity to help our people here upskill their abilities and get into higher paying jobs and get these kids right out of high school who maybe don't want to track into the normal 4-year college degree, but they can go to an apprenticeship program and actually go into a high-paying job. And it could be in a number of fields. We've been working very closely with UOG, GCC, Guam Trades, and even DOE, trying to catch these kids in the high schools and middle schools, letting them know there are alternative routes.
Right. Well, because it seems to me that over the last couple of decades here, it's been raise kids and then everybody go broke trying to put them in college, and then they're chasing after degrees that won't necessarily pay any bills up to and including their student loan bills. In this case, you might have an opportunity to take a kid who's got great aptitude and already might have some natural skills and put them in a place where they can learn all about different industries and taking advantage of those resources, and businesses being able to find some of these people and give them the training and the real world experience that they need.
And that's, and we're exploring into the agriculture, and we're going to expand into the hospitality, because we know that there's a lot of people in the hotels and restaurants that are low level. Either they're front desk or opening the doors or parking the cars, and they've been there maybe 3, 4, 5 years, and they want to grow, but they don't have the experience or the education to grow. And that's what the apprenticeship will come in, put them into a program where they can start looking at management type positions. And the hotels and the restaurants, and we're having, we already have great success in the telecommunications and out of Cabras Marine.
Yeah.
We are hitting.
Well, I was on the phone for a half hour last week with Andrew Gale from GTA, talking about everything the different kind of manpower needs that these guys are going to have, and some very technical needs that they'll need to fill once they've got this neutral interconnectivity for these undersea data cables coming through Guam.
So so they're picking up these young kids that have the internet and computer skills, but they just don't know anything about telecommunications. So that's where they use our GRAP program and the Guam Registered Apprenticeship Program, and they basically hire them, and then they basically go through a 2-year program, and they get the skills to go into the telecommunication jobs, and they get these nice. I see the annual salaries on these people, and they're making a living wage, a comfortable living wage, and we're constantly expanding and working with certified nursing assistants. We're working with GCC for the truck driving, allied health, telecommunications, computers. So we are constantly growing and expanding, and hoping that some of these people who are laying on the couch and just don't want to go out and look for a minimum wage job or whatever can see that if they have a little bit of a work ethic and want to put in some hard work, they can get a skilled, high-paying job. If they just want to put in some of the work, and we'll get them into a totally a different field, HVAC, construction, electrical. So there's a lot of opportunities. I'm always excited about the apprenticeship program because it really aligns to those people that are out there who don't mind the work, but just don't have the skill or the money to go after and don't want to start at the bottom.
And have to go line up in school and take something else. There's a program that you've also that it addresses the needs of displaced workers. And off the top of my head, I was thinking about some guys that used to be meter readers over at the Guam Power Authority, and we don't need them anymore because we got radio read meters. There's a whole other technology that says that we're going to take these people and unfortunately we're going to automate and find more efficient ways to do things for our businesses, and that's going to be happening all over the place. We're starting to see more automation technologies joining information technologies in businesses that are displacing people. So here's an opportunity for those individuals to go and get retrained into another position, hopefully one that makes even more money than the job that they left.
And if they, and if GWA already knows that they have good work ethic, they're working hard.
Sure.
There's no fault of their own that, technology is phasing their jobs out, but they can certainly be retrained and go into a different position, higher or whatever. And one other thing is that this $462,000 that we're getting is also first time that we are also looking at the government worker, upskilling the existing government workers so that they can qualify into higher level jobs. And that could be, in GPD, law enforcement. It could be in the GWA and the other things where they weren't always it was mostly for the private sector, so I was able to get some of this funding to allotted for the public sector side. So I'm hoping to see how that works out and how that we can take advantage of some of the workers that are in the lower level to qualify into the higher level jobs, so this is great for the GPDs and the agriculture and law enforcement agencies that we can upskill their workers.
Let's say, Dave, that I've got an apprenticeship program here at the radio station. I'm looking for my replacement or something like that. So how would I go about working with the Department of Labor to find somebody that will come and work with me here? Do I still have to pay all of their wages and benefits in this apprenticeship program, or do I pay an amount and then the federal government through this grant pays the other side?
There's several ways you can do it. The first thing you want to do is go down to our AJC and to our apprentice office, and we have to design an apprentice program that would satisfy what are the requirements and what kind of experience that person would need to step in your shoes. And we would design, some of it might be professional experience, go to GCC, get certain classes, do this, certain working at your radio station and getting different certifications. We would work that out. And then depending on the type of person that you would hire would qualify for different types of programs, whether it be paid through us or whether it would be a 50% tax credit through the GRAP program. There are several different ways that you can accomplish this. It depends on the qualifications of the individual. Whether you grab somebody that's already in your office that maybe has an aptitude but just needs the experience, or whether it's an unemployed person, a displaced person. So there are many different ways to skin the cat.
Gotcha. Now, what about folks that have been incarcerated in past, have done their time and paroled out? Are they eligible for these programs as well? Get them some training along with whatever they might have picked up while they were incarcerated, and give them a chance to rejoin society with a skill.
Yes, and that's why we had that other grant where we would get a fidelity bond, and if you wanted to take a chance, but you're saying, well, if I hire this person, we would float a $5,000 bond or $1,000 or $10,000 bond, and then when you hire him, if something, God forbid, he would steal something or he wasn't working out, or you would have that insurance coverage.
Oh, that's interesting. I had not heard about that program. We're going to talk about that one a little bit more down the road. Hey, let me switch gears real quick before I let you run and see if there's do we have any movement on the H-2B labor question here? I've got some construction I need done, and most of the guys that I'm talking to are already working and will be working for about the next 6 months or so. Have they figured out a way that we've loosened the grasp on H-2Bs being able to come to Guam to help?
Well, the only thing I can say to that is that we're working very good with the Admiral's office, and if these companies that are building these homes or stuff or related housing projects, we can certainly get them included and approved. And we can work on that. Of course, it's a case-by-case basis, but we're having some success in that. And we're constantly working on avenues with USIS on trying to get them to relax the temporary certifications. And I know Guam Contractors Association is having some success on their side, which has nothing to do with our side. So, we are, I feel that that's one of the most important issues that are holding back the economy of our island, and we'll continue to work diligently. I know that we are constantly working with the governor's office and with the feds to see if we can get them.
Who was that guy you were talking to last month that wanted to bring in H-2 labor from other certified countries? I can't remember what the countries were that the guy was talking about.
The lady, she was basically a recruiter, and she came out of the States, and basically what she was doing is saying, the Philippines was removed from the eligibility list of approved countries, and we're still getting them in because of the military requirement on the NDAA, but it's a lot of hoops and hurdles. So she's saying, and what I was looking at is some of these U.S. contractors.
That was Mexico. She wanted to bring Mexicans.
Yeah, Mexico.
Yeah,
Mexicans and those U.S. contractors that maybe land jobs here in Guam. They already work with Mexican H-2s. They can certainly look at bringing them here. It's not a fit for all, like those companies that are already on Guam that worked with Philippines a lot. We're not saying, stop from that, but we need to diversify.
Yeah.
You can't just have this, because anything can happen still with the Philippine, and they could change and rule them out or whatever. We are continuously working with the Consulate General and trying to strengthen and prove to the U.S. that we don't have those problems that they are facing in the U.S. mainland, that, being a closed border, we have strict controls. We do a lot of enforcement, so we don't have that problem. And we'll. There's a lot of things that we're working on and continue to work on. And all I can say is those contractors who are working on homes, if they need H-2s, come and see us. We will help you craft that message so that we can try to get you approved.
I wish you good luck. Everybody, go buy him a lunch, and you get the rest of the information about cool things DOL is up to. Dave Del Sol, I'll talk to you pretty soon, buddy.
Thank you very much, Ray.
Pleasure's mine. 855-888-8255-888-TALK is my telephone number. I'm trying to figure out how I like this microphone because it changes every day depending on what shirt I'm wearing. Anyway, so where we go? At 9 o'clock in the morning, I got Fox News Live, and then it's just you and I think. Got to look at the schedule, but I'm pretty sure it's just you and I until it gets to be 10 o'clock this morning. Lots and lots of stuff to talk about.
You're not going to address again, are you?
No, not the dress.
No.
Yeah, I'm not one of those. I used to work with guys, and every once in a while somebody'd say, yeah, we get this thing, and the gag is you get to wear a dress. And I used to work with guys that just love the idea. Really? I get to wear a dress? This is great. Can I do makeup? And I'm going, yeah, okay, he can wear the dress. I'll come in my red pants or my white pants or something like that. Don't laugh. You're laughing already, and I haven't even said don't laugh at what I was going to tell you and don't laugh about. It's a good thing you can't see what I'm trying to buy on Amazon. So I've got this buddy. And he's down under. Oi. One of those guys, right? And all of a sudden, I can't remember whether he's from New Zealand or Australia, but he's one of those kind of guys, right? Yeah, I know. But he's got this cool hat. It's this oil leather hat, right? And it looks like the Australian style hat, where it clips up on the side. It's really, really cool looking. I want one. I want one of those hats. And so I was looking at that on Amazon. It got me thinking about a friend of mine that I know from Australia named Lisa, and used to hang out with her when we'd go on trips to Cairns, Australia. And she had this thing for white linen slacks. Now, they're very shade, a dozen shades of sexy on women. But the way that she wore, and she had this thing about white linen slacks. And, you know, Cairns, Australia, it's hot, so there's something about the breathability, the movement, the natural feel of wearing these particular slacks. I like them because they were see-through, but there were a whole lot of apparently other benefits to owning these things. And so it occurred to me as I was pondering those white linen slacks on her, what they would feel like on me.
Yeah.
So I'm on the hunt for white linen slacks. Is there any way you buy those? Like for men?
Dude,
Here?
I had never even heard of white linen slacks until you just
now.
Yeah.
Okay. I got Director Cho is going to find some for me.
To me, slacks are polyester, cotton, or denim.
You know who I should ask? The governor, because she's traveling. Maybe there's a place down in Chuk. You know, maybe there's a little store down in Chuk where they've got white linen slacks that she could get me. Pretty sure the lieutenant governor would be able to find them for me, but I'm just saying. So my friend Chris Barnett at KUAM writes, 6 full months into the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration, and travel costs for Adeloop's senior staff has already topped $100,000. According to documents KUAM News obtained by Freedom of Information Act, senior staff has spent $106,486 in travel so far in 2019.
And I bet their arms are tired.
Maga Haga Lulian Guerrero is Adeloop's most frequent flyer, taking 5 trips costing taxpayers $25,000, almost 26. The governor has been off island a total of 36 days so far in 2019. Her longest trip was to attend bond meetings and a National Governors Association meeting in San Francisco, meetings that they had in San Francisco, New York, and Washington, D.C. from February 17 to March. Jeff Cook traveled with Leon Guerrero on that trip at a cost of $6,007. LT Tenorio has taken 4 trips totaling 31 days and $25,179. His longest trip was 10 days for meetings with the Guam Society of America. I'm not going to say that's made up. The Department of Defense, National Institute of Corrections, National Lieutenant Governors Association's meetings in Washington, D.C., and, of course, the Zetlu Festival in San Diego, California. Having attended Zetlu festivals in the past, I must say, if you're going to get in trouble for flying around a lot, that one would be worth it.
Caller wanted to know, is that just airfare or is that per diem and all the other goodies?
I believe it is per diem and all of the other goodies that go into it. I don't know that would solely be airfare. If you want to see, go to KUAM.com. We're all friends, right? So go to KUAM.com and because they loaded up all of the responses. There's the first page is Chris's request, the FOIA, and then the rest of it is all the actual Department of Administration breakdowns and things like that. But yeah, there's all kinds of trips that these guys have gone on, including trips that Tony Babauta has taken, former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez, and others traveling with him on this trip so far. Senior staffers and $100,000 in excess of travel spend already in the first 6 months of this administration. Must be nice. It's 9. We're KUSG. I got you.
He'll stay in jail. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. He once socialized with movie stars and heads of state. Now hedge fund manager Jeffrey Epstein is charged with sex trafficking young girls.
Epstein pleaded not guilty to the 2 counts against him of sex trafficking and conspiracy to commit sex trafficking. His attorney called the charges ancient stuff that he had been accused of more than a decade ago. But a lawyer for 2 of Epstein's alleged victims, David Boies, said they are gratified with this case.
Our clients have been subject to an enormous amount of verbal abuse that compounded the sexual abuse that they suffered.
Epstein remains in federal custody with a bail hearing set for July 15th. If convicted, Epstein could face 45 years in prison.
Fox's Gernal Scott in New York City. Out of the race for the White House, California Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell. He's announced that he's abandoning his presidential bid.
Today ends our presidential campaign, but it is the beginning of an opportunity in Congress with a new perspective shaped by the lives that have touched mine and our campaign throughout these last 3 months.
Swalwell was one of nearly 24 Democrats vying for the nomination. A federal judge blocking the Trump administration from implementing a new rule that would force drug companies to include prices in their TV ads. That's according to Reuters. The U.S. women's soccer team back on American soil after the World Cup victory against the Netherlands yesterday. Co-captain Alex Morgan was asked about this week's planned ticker tape parade that'll honor the champs.
Honestly, that was like the best part of 2015 when we won, and so I'm so
excited to share this moment with my teammates, a lot of whom have never been a part of that, have never gotten the star that we got in 2015.
Yesterday's win is the team's 4th World Cup victory and 2nd consecutive win. This is Fox News.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about the food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
President Trump continuing his push for a citizenship question to be added to the 2020 census.
The Trump administration has a new team of lawyers working to add a citizenship question even after the U.S. Supreme Court sent the fight back to the lower courts and the forms are being printed. One idea under consideration, President Trump issuing an executive order. That move is likely to be challenged in court. A Justice Department official says a new legal team is made up of career lawyers and political appointees. Opponents of the citizenship question say some may refuse to fill out the form, skewing the head count and affecting congressional districts. In Washington, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
Netflix promising to cut down on showing people smoking on its original content shows.
A report from public health group Truth Initiative claims Netflix shows tobacco use more often than broadcast or cable programs. The nonprofit calling the streaming service's hit series Stranger Things one of the biggest offenders and the rise of smoking and episodic content an emerging threat to a new generation of young Americans. Netflix responding, saying all new projects it commissions with ratings of TV 14 or below for series or PG-13 or below for films will be smoking and e-cigarette free, except for reasons of historical or factual accuracy. It will also add tobacco use in the ratings boxes so viewers can make informed choices about what they watch. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Paul McCartney's ex-wife Heather Mills and her sister have got an apology and a settlement from the defunct News of the World newspaper over the hacking of their phones. A representative of the tabloid said it apologized for the distress caused to them by their invasion of their privacy by individuals working for or on behalf of the News of the World. The size of what was called a substantial settlement hasn't been revealed. Heather Mills is one of a number of celebrities who have received settlements in the prolonged phone hacking scandal. I'm Lisa Sarah, and this is Fox News.
I got it. No, I've got to respond. I'm sorry. It's stupid. It's stupid what they're talking about making them do on Netflix.
Yeah, America has clearly lost its politically correct mind.
What the? They're smoking. You know, it's Stranger Things. The show takes place in the 1980s. That's where those the music is from there. The whole plot revolves around life as it was in the 1980s when they came out with New Coke, and we were watching Max Headroom on television and all of these other things. And you know what? Everybody smoked in the 80s. Mm-hmm. We all smoked. Everybody smoked. You could buy cigarettes in a machine at the movie theater in the 1980s.
In the 80s, you were not cool if you
didn't smoke. We all God, it's just so annoying. So what? I'm tired of you know what? I'm tired of this snowflake planet that we live on here with all of these people that just have to be offended by everything and have to wag their finger at everybody for doing whatever. God, what a bunch of pea brains. I'm sorry, I had to get that out of my system. 6 after 9. Be right back.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 data-to-go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is data-to-go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
I have all of our papers together now. The papers. Do you have the papers? Yes, I have the papers. And in the papers are all of the commercials for all of the big sponsors of the Raymond Gibson Show here on 93.3. The Point, including my friends over at Ruby Tuesdays, because they got a great deal for you. You like eating at Ruby Tuesdays, don't you? You want to? Here's what you do. Go find somebody that you absolutely love to watch eat. I've got a couple of images in my head of people that it's just a pleasure for me to watch them eat. They're so good at it. And take them with you to Ruby Tuesdays because we've got 2 garden bars. So you and this friend, you and this person get to go to the garden bar as many times as you want to. And then we've got a bunch of different entrees that you can choose from, one for you, one for her, or him, whatever. And then you get to share a dessert. All is only $25.99. Available all day, every Tuesday, for a limited time at Ruby Tuesdays. The morning show is also brought to you by APL Global Presence with a local home. Solar batteries with battery storage, or solars with battery storage. That's the plan. Available to Guam homeowners from Micronesia Renewable Energy. Call Jeff or Joe at 632-2613 for a free consultation and a free test drive. Imagine that. Test drive this car for free over at Cars Plus. It's the summer of Jeep at Cars Plus. They've got Motor Trend's SUV of the year. That's the Jeep Wrangler. But the rest of the Jeep family is there as well. Compasses and Cherokees and Grand Cherokees as well. Find that at Cars Plus in Mighty.
Rediscover Talk Radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
Yeah, that's my thing here. If you don't like smoking, then don't smoke. If you hate it, it's the smell, and it's the cost, whatever, then don't smoke. But don't get your knickers in a bunch all because they've got smoking on television. Do you really, really think, in 2019, do you really think that somebody out there, a little kid, might be watching Stranger Things on television? And if you've got kids watching Stranger Things on television, there are much worse issues, I think, in your home that you need to address. But if you think that there might be a little Johnny at 13 years old watching Stranger Things and seeing Hop, or is it Hoop? It's Hop, smoking a cigarette. Ooh, tasty Marlboro Reds. If you really got a problem with you think that kid's going to start picking up a lifelong habit of smoking cigarettes from watching a television show, then you've raised about the stupidest kids on the planet. So I know wherever I speak. I was a 30-year smoker, man and boy. Started in high school and managed to quit about 10, 11 years ago. I survived it. I'm all right. And my last physical, the doctors did the scans. They did all the checks and everything, and there's absolutely no evidence that I'd ever smoked as much as I did back in the day. So even if they do make that critical error of watching a television show and maybe grabbing a pack of cigarettes, it might not kill them, not right away. But like I said, that's the rule. If you don't like cigarettes, you don't have to smoke. But stop wagging your finger at everybody else. Nobody cares. 9:10 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. Can't fight Darwinism. Pam Duvall says, that's okay. Embrace the bong. Sometimes I think there's something wrong, and I don't know what to do about it. 888-825-5888-TALK. I wanted to get this call on the line. I saw the story last night and learning a little bit more about it, about another couple of dogs up in Zigo again, I believe, that were found dead. And I first heard about it from inside Facebook. The person that reported the dead animals, actual Facebook friend of mine, and my heart bleeds for the family. That's a hard pain, losing a dog, especially if they're inside dogs. You know, sleep with you on the bed, play with you on the couch, all of those kinds of things. I mean, that's not just a pet. That's a member of the family. So I know about that pain, and it reminds me of my puppies that have gone to doggy heaven and over the Rainbow Bridge, and makes me feel all misty as well. But trying to figure out what it was that was the cause of the death of these dogs. Now, obviously, there's somebody that's already copped to the idea that he shot a dog at my friend Nathan's house. And we wonder if and my brother brother had a dog that was lost to somebody that shot the dog, and so obviously there's a concern that this might be coming back, and people want to do something about it. But we got to make sure that we're addressing the right problem. That's why I got Dr. Tom Poole, territorial veterinarian, on the line. Hey, Tom, how you doing, Doc?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Ray. Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure that the air is as clear as possible. You were able to do a necroscopy on these dogs?
Yes, sir. I did a post-mortem examination of both of those little dogs yesterday afternoon. And I guess I'm happy to say that I think this had no human involvement at all. I'm pretty sure that this was the typical big dog crush of these two little dogs. One was sort of a little Chihuahua type, the other a little Yorkshire Terrier type. And very typical, deep canine tooth wounds, crush injuries across the thorax and the neck, torn out of one of them. So this didn't look like any human involvement at all to me. I'm quite sure this was just a big dog got in there and did them. Well, I hope we can find that dog too.
Yeah. What would we do? Would you put that dog down? Is that a case of an animal that needs to be destroyed?
In my opinion, that would very likely be the case. We always do a behavioral assessment on those, but for a big dog to do something like this, to me, that's a head full of bad wiring, because these little dogs could not represent a threat to that dog. And this isn't a nip, this is a murderous act. So yeah, there's something bad wrong with that dog.
So people got to be on the lookout for it. If it does this to little dogs, the concern is, and I've seen it, I've seen dogs attack kids that were about their size or smaller.
Yes, and that there has been studies that have shown that there is an association there, that dogs that kill other dogs and cats and things like that are more likely to do the same thing to children. And so I just don't think you can take a chance. We had a dog like this in my neighborhood that terrorized us for about 3 years, and he was trap-wise. We couldn't catch him. We were trying hard. He killed 2 of my animals. He was killing animals throughout the neighborhood. We finally got him, but it was these things can be difficult.
Wow, work to do here. Huh. If it was not another dog, is it possible? It seems to me that we're hearing stories, a lot more stories about pigs that no longer feel like they ought to be confined to the boony areas, the jungle areas of Guam, and know that there is food in those big trash bins that we have that they can push over and get to. Is it possible that a pig might have gotten to these dogs?
It's possible. I would think it's unlikely. Where I come from, pig hunting is very popular, and it's done with dogs. And so I've worked on a lot of dogs that got on the wrong end of one of those pigs. And the wounds are different. These were crush type wounds across the chest. I'm not saying it's impossible, but more likely what the wounds that I normally saw on those dogs that had been normally you see those those big tusks that go into the abdomen and just rip. So the pigs tend to, just impale them and then throw their heads and rip. And that wasn't the sort of injuries that I was seeing on these dogs. So I certainly would say it's impossible, but I think it's much less likely. These were very typical injuries. When I was stationed in San Francisco, for 6 years I was working at the only emergency clinic then that was north of San Jose there on the peninsula. Yeah. And it was a really busy clinic, and so I saw so many of these cases of these small dogs that would get crunched by big dogs, or cats that would get crunched by bigger dogs. And so it's fairly classic, the injuries that these dogs sustained.
Where there's another case of animal cruelty that I read about, and it involves a couple of dogs, one a pit bull and another of mixed origin, I guess, that had been caught by folks from the Department of Agriculture's Animal Protection Division and brought to some kind of safety. One of them, I'm told, had to be put down. Is the other one on the road to recovery that you know of?
I think that in the end, Dr. Ford recommended euthanasia for both of those, and I didn't get the confirmation on the second one, but they were working on that one too. But these dogs were in really, really horrible condition, and that owner was arrested, and to my knowledge hasn't been bonded out yet. I haven't heard that, but they're going to take him over the hurdles.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, the pictures that I saw were just absolutely atrocious. Those dogs had been suffering for a long time. And in fact, one of them appeared to have his ears cut off.
Yes, there'd been a homemade ear crop done there too, so that'll be added to the charges.
God, I would hope so. I would hope so. Are the penalties for that kind of thing in your mind, Doc, stiff enough to prevent more of that kind of thing from happening? Do we need to have a very widely seen case here of somebody that is put over the barrel on this case?
Well, everyone that we have charged so far with felony animal abuse, and I think we have charged 5 people with that, and 4 have been adjudicated, and all have been found guilty so far.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's one that still hasn't been completed yet, but all were found guilty. And I mean, I think it's pretty rough. Whenever you get charged with a felony, you're going to be talking to a criminal lawyer. And those people, those attorneys generally want tens of thousands of dollars up front just to start the case.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to spend that. And then if you lose, then it's also quite bad. So I'm actually happy with our laws and our penalties. These are fairly recent laws. I think it was the former Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio who initiated them about, it must have been 10 years ago, but got them through the legislature, and they greatly strengthened our laws. And I think we have some of the strongest ones. And so it's just a matter of getting good evidence, good witnesses, good photographs, good evidence. And we've got a really good AG's office here. This Assistant AG, Jeremy Kemper, has been leading the charge on all of these. And so he's done great. And so I think you would really be making a mistake to get caught doing something like that on Guam.
I kind of look forward to seeing where the end of this case is going to go. This particular case is going to get to go. And now for the listeners that might have a house down the street that they pass by and see a dog in just really, really rough shape and awful surroundings and obvious that it's not getting any kind of care that it needs, what is the response from the community need to be when confronted with that kind of animal cruelty?
They can call Department of Agriculture. They can call any GPD office. They can call GAIN. All of us will be happy to take those calls, and we'll run with it. So just call any of us.
All right. And one last thing. White linen pants for men, yes or no?
Definitely no.
Just got to ask. I'm sorry. I get too serious around here, and I got to be able to jump out of the rabbit hole when I can.
All right, Ray, anytime.
I'll see you soon, Doc. Have a
Yes,
fantastic day. 888-825-5888-TALK.
But you found some on Amazon.
I found, apparently they sell them, Amazon.
Specifically for men. Yes. White linen pants for men.
There are plenty of them. I could just look at this one here. It's got the little sailor suit shirt thing on. That's nice.
See, if we lived on Bali, that kind of island, we could do that.
I don't disagree.
Guam is not that kind of island.
No, it can be. I'm not saying that I'd wear the thing out. I mean, it's not like I'd go Home Depot with it.
Dude, you'd be in a
But if I
pair
did
of,
have a-
you'd buy 5 pairs of those and wear each one every single day.
I'd wear it every day.
I know you would.
I did because it just looks. I'm
You'd
sorry,
buy
they look
shirts to-
cool.
you'd buy
They look
shirts to
cool.
match.
And I don't mean cool as in hip or trendy. Apparently, it is. Macy's. I think you can buy them over at Macy's. I'll find out this afternoon. But there's the idea. The idea that we live in a hot place. Okay, it's hot on Guam, and it might be the smart move might be to try to figure out what clothes we can wear here in this hot place called Guam that will make things, I don't know, just a little bit cooler on ourselves. And it seems to me that, linen might be the thing, breathing and comfortable and all that. I'll see if I can get this picture from my phone into the WhatsApp. Juan Carlos Benitez sent me a picture of a bunch of guys from Guam. Looks like late 50s, early 60s. One of the guys in the picture, and I'll show you in a couple of minutes, is my grandfather, Ray Underwood. That's the father of my mother. In this shot. Let me see if I can get this up to the thing and put it online. And you can see he's not quite wearing linen in the picture. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this thing up in the next couple of minutes. It's already at the thing. I just got to call it up on the phone. But him and the other guys are all wearing these, kind of looks like lighter clothes.
Yeah.
And color wise, they are lighter. If you take a look at what they're wearing. All right, so here's the shot. So moving from left to right on the screen here, the jolly-looking guy's my grandfather. That's Ray Underwood, former senator and local businessman. And next to him is his uncle, and that is Pedro Ada, for which the Ada's empire is known for. Is that right? No, that's not Pete Adda. That's Pedro Martinez. Sorry. Let me get that right. Pedro Martinez. My uncle, Pedro, who is the nephew of my great-grandfather. So not they're cousins in that picture. The guy in the middle, we don't know. Trying to figure out who that is. The next fella is Juan Carlos Benitez's dad. And then the last guy over on the right-hand side, former governor, for which they named the Epal Beach Park for. It's Joe Flores.
Oh, okay.
So, but you take a look at the clothes that they were wearing, right? And don't those look like they would breathe? Don't they look like they were cottony, kind of let it breathe in this tropical world that they were living in?
Yeah,
a little bit baggy.
Keep in mind back then khakis actually were very popular, light color, light fabric, but also a lighter cotton blend of slack that's white or gray certainly was more popular in these tropical climates.
Right. Now the only other thing that my grandfather did to make himself that much more comfortable is you will note that he is the only one in the picture not wearing shoes.
There you go.
Daddy had shoes, but I never saw him wearing them. I mean, there's special occasions only. He always wore either sandals. Sandals was the dress up. So if he's going to church, if he's going to the legislature where he served, or something like that, fancy dinner, he wore sandals. Otherwise, he wore just regular old wear 'em to the shower Zoris. Just that's it, and he was a big man, so the longer he'd walk on them, the bigger the divots would go in the Zori. So it was very, very clear at the house who owned whose Zoris. Because Daddy, you could make out every single one of the heel and the ball of his foot and all of the big toes. 9:23 in the morning. My buddy Marquez is back on the line. I know meandering topics here, buddy. What's up?
How are you?
How are you?
In the 70s, I'm a little bit color deficient, and my favorite pants was dark green corduroy. A little bit on a bell-bottom flare, a little bit.
Oh, Cords. I remember Cords. What was the name of the jean shop? No, it wasn't Jean Shop. Yeah, you buy them at Gibson's. Oh, the Busta Browns over at Diana's. I think they sold Cords there, too.
I had a white pair and a maroon pair.
Cords?
Yeah.
I wore the same pair of black corduroys for the entire senior year at Father Duenas. I'm serious. No, the same pair.
I thought they were brown.
No. I had black corduroys the entire senior year at Father Duenas, and at the end of the year, we let them fly from the flagpole.
Oh.
That's my contribution to Father Duenas history.
Wore the white. Even Paul Calvo and Lieutenant Governor Kurt Moylan wore the white.
Oh yeah, that's very common. You remember my bus driver wore white slacks. And white patent leather shoes. You remember that?
Yeah. And the bright island shirt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the one, it's the visible from space.
Exactly.
I'm good for your therapy, aren't I, Marquez? You don't need CBD. You don't need medicinal marijuana. You just need to listen to this show all the time. I will put you in a happy place.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you want to talk about something? Did you want me to reread? Did you want me to re-riff on the letter that the Admiral wrote to the governor yesterday?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I'd love the way
it slow.
Yeah, I'll say it slowly for you. We are protecting the tree that you guys didn't know anything about since 1998. Yeah.
Forgotten.
Yeah, maybe you want to take this fight somewhere. But you know what? Not to be deterred, and I have to be fair. In addition to, let me get a different picture up on the screen here, because not to be deterred, there are a number of groups that are lined up now that are angry with the way that Shoshana refused. What is it? The governor's denied the governor's request to pause construction on the firing range, and they're going to be having a little protesty thing tomorrow over at looks like Kipua Circle.
Oh, well, maybe we should do a counter protest.
Really? Do you want to?
And wear white. Wear
white linen slacks out there. I don't know, buddy. I just There it is. It's up on the screen now. Calling all land defenders, water protectors, and people for peace to join us for a protest to rise up in protection of our home. It's unacceptable that Admiral Chatfield denied the governor's request to pause construction on the firing range. And then they say, you know, all the issues that we got to worry about. And I like this because, you know, it's interesting because they include the aquifer. We want to protect the aquifer as much as we possibly can. But here's, this is my thing, and I, you know, not to be totally disagreeable about it, and to take a side here, but it's our aquifer. That means that all of us will drink water from it, and that includes the military. And their children are going to be drinking water that is drawn from that very same aquifer. It is also worth pointing out that that same military has provided $122 million for the construction of a wastewater treatment plant for the northern part of Guam.
Which black construction is going to get, not whoever the governor thought should get it, but yeah.
So I'm just saying, you know, it's not as though they are not doing anything to protect the resources, including
where their mouth is.
Yeah, the important water resources.
A bunch of whitewash and pretend bills that make us feel good, but have no funding and no teeth or anything like that. But I agree. You know, the other day someone thought I was kind of a little bit too kumbaya because I think that Chamorros are Micronesians and we're more closely related to them than. But I'm a human being. Like all human beings, we should treat each other with decency and respect. We give respect, you earn respect, and it goes both ways. Same with the animals. You know, like your other caller was. That's terrible that we're abusing our animals. You know, and,
no, don't let me catch you abusing a dog. Don't ever let me catch you doing that.
Yeah, right. 'Cause, I mean, they're innocent, and they speak more languages than you and I put together.
If only they were as smart as cats, then the world would be perfect. Hey, dude, I got to run.
Okay.
Talk to you pretty soon. It's like 9:28 or something. 888-825-5888-TALK. I already did all the serious talk. What else is there? Where else do we need to go in the conversation? Well, let me just quick eyeball of the table of contents and make sure that I'm touching on at least some of it. Okay? Oh no. You know what? I can save that because I wanted to riff on this yesterday, but I didn't have the chance because I'm lazy. But I'm holding in my hand a request for information. And I got my fingers crossed. You see me, I'm closing my eyes with both fingers crossed here because I really, really hope that something comes from this. It is a request for information. The Lillian Perez Posadas from the Guam Memorial Hospital is putting out an RFI. It's not an RFP or an IFB, it's an RFI, and the specific reason why you want to do this is to start putting together a list of people that can provide a certain service to Guam Memorial Hospital. In this case, they need, and have needed for years, a hospital electronic health records system. When I was at St. Luke's, as soon as I got there, fill out some forms, plug in some information into the computer, and that followed me everywhere as I went around St. Luke's. There was somebody every time that I sat down in front of somebody, they'd call up a screen, check my identification, when's my birthday, all of that stuff. And all of that information, all of the new information, there was already old information in there, and all of the new information was provided likewise as I was going through these inspections. And that was the first thing that was on the screen. It was the last thing that was on the screen. So basically cradle to grave for the entire visit. Everything that I did there was noted. And because I had already been there before, they were able to make A/B comparisons on the numbers immediately on the numbers that I presented with a couple of years ago versus new numbers that I had today so that they could mark any kinds of trends. I don't know that we have anything like that at Guam Memorial Hospital. I don't know that we have anything where we've got that kind of specific automation where you can look at it on a pad, you could look at it on a computer, you could look at it on some kind of other mainframe device. When they shot my X-ray, they didn't have to print out an X-ray. They just made a print of a digital copy of it, and that was now part of that record that any doctor anywhere in the world might be able to access. So that's the kind of thing that we need at Guam Memorial Hospital. The other reason why you want to do something like this, and you'll know this, is because if they prescribe you something, If somebody comes in and we prescribe I don't know, a headache medicine or IV of this, that, or the other, all of that information gets scanned into the permanent record as well. And then when it comes time to bill you, there really isn't much of a reason to dispute anything, because you can see what was added, what was done on an ongoing basis. Where it becomes more important is when we're sending the information to our insurance companies. Locally run insurance companies, and when we're sending information out to the federal companies, other big companies who are real sticklers for accuracy when it comes to billing. It's all there, and I'm hoping, and my fingers are crossed, that we get some really good systems. Now, we're going to say, how are we going to pay for it? Something like this will pay for itself. Something like this will pay for itself over the years. You sign up with a big company and somebody that can give us a scalable system. Maybe something that we'll start just in the emergency room, or something that we can start labor and delivery and things like that, and then have it spread around the rest of the hospital. All the departments and divisions of Guam Memorial Hospital all talking in the same language. You want to see a system like this at work? Go to GRMC or any other hospital anywhere else on the planet except Guam. 9:32 in the morning, and that's the little riffette on that. I'll keep my eye on this particular RFI and see what happens with it in the future. Could be time for that kind of fiscal upgrade at GMH. That's worth getting a loan for, if you ask me. It's 9:32, and that's iConnect time. Call iConnect. Give them a ring, 888-8888, and say, how are you going to save me money on my internet and my mobile this year?
GPSI Guam is a professional services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're an SBA, 8A, and Hub Zone certified SDVOSB, providing program/project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. For large prime companies, contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
What happened? We're at 9:33. I'm supposed to talk about Wendy's. Fine, because Wendy's has among my favorite. There is no salad at Wendy's that I don't like. Let me just make that part of the conversation here. But I love it when they come out with the berry burst, because it's got actual berries in it. I mean, like strawberries and blueberries and whatever else. I want to say that there's 2 or 3 other berries that they've got all put into this thing, plus feta cheese. So you've got nice savory flavor going against the berries, and grilled chicken. Now, I'm like to keep track of my diet, and I do exercise and stuff like that. Grilled chicken ain't my thing. Fried spicy chicken, the one that they've got over at Wendy's that goes into the spicy chicken sandwich, you can get that with this salad. So there's all kinds of stuff going on in your mouth. You got the tang and the tart from the berries. You've got the savory from the feta cheese, and then you got the spicy tangle of food coming in from the chicken. You gotta try that. Find that for the salad today at Wendy's.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training.
Hi, I'm Jerry Roberts, and every day on The Ray Gibson Show, I get to comment on the incredibly diverse, fun, challenging, sometimes frustrating, often exciting, but always interesting world of work. I hope you'll be there with us.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Do you write me something? Is it important? There it is. Okay, thanks very much. Strawberries, blueberries, and a raspberry vinaigrette dressing. That will complete the salad over at Wendy's. And for those of you in the downtown Agutnia area, good news, they're all done with the remodel of the Wendy's there, the diner area. The dining area at the Wendy's in Agutnia, that's all taken care of. So if you want to dine in with that berry blast salad, you're more than welcome to.
At the shopping center?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Yeah. I know, right? Let's talk with really high voices. God gave us these voices, but we want to talk like this.
Why not?
It's fun. All right. You might want to close the door because I can hear the bathroom door latching.
I can smell the bathroom door latching.
I want to know about that. All right, so there was I'm trying to think if there was anything else on the story here about the RFI for the hospital that we're going through. There might have been a couple of comments on Facebook Live. What have we got? Healthcare, one of the biggest challenges, keeping many natives away from home. It is sad but true. I don't disagree with that. As people begin to age, they begin to worry about their access to affordable health care. And I know people that have got veteran stripes on them that say, I love Guam, but I don't want to die young here. I want to die old someplace else where my benefits might be able to provide for a better quality of life and better access to health care. I don't disagree. I think schools are another reason why you might have some families living in the mainland that want to come home, but they're worried about the good education for their kids. Those are the things, and I wonder if more and more people that are watching the program online that hear us, at least in this show, in this media, making a big deal about the seemingly unstoppable rise in violent crime that we've got. There's a guy last weekend that was beat with a pipe to death. They were able to get to him while he was alive a little bit, took him up to Navy Hospital and died from his wounds there. Can you imagine just the savagery of the attack that had to take place to die from the blunt head wounds?
Yeah, that's why I say it had to more than likely was a beef between these guys. That doesn't make it better, but I'm just saying, but that's the kind of thing you look for, and that is it was a personal attack.
Yeah, and like I said, it just the almost animal savagery with after which they got after this guy. It's absolutely crazy. So I wonder if there are people that are listening to the broadcast, read the newspapers online and go, wow, yeah, I want to go back. Not the same Guam I grew up in, though. Not the same place where, everybody knew everybody. We didn't have big city crime around here. They had corruption. I think there's always been corruption. But, I don't know, it was almost friendly corruption. And then you start looking at maybe some of the things that people turned away from. I did not even bother to acknowledge it. The story, and I hesitate to run into this puddle just because I think it's an icky spot to talk about. But the apparent rampant abuse of young boys and girls at the hands of the archdiocese, and that's one of those strange ones. I must have been sheltered. Or I must have been just an ugly altar boy because nobody ever tried to touch me in an inappropriate way. So I'm out of the lawsuit business. But so I don't know. Maybe for some people, the good old Guam back in the day wasn't all that good old Guam back in the day. But maybe you can say that about everywhere. I don't know.
This is the first place I've ever lived where that thing came to light. I have lived in other places, and it was that hidden thing, but nothing public. There was never a trial, lawyer, no suits, no anything. Only coming to Guam did I ever experience this whole
there had been others. I mean, there have been groups for years that have been trying to expose this to the degree that it has been exposed here and in some other places. And the obvious reaction at the time was for the priests for the archdiocese to kind of circle a wagon around itself and deny and move priests around, so they wouldn't get in trouble, wouldn't get fingered by the law. But there's, I guess, only so far you can run, only so much you can hide that kind of thing, and it comes to light. A friend of mine passed away a couple of years ago, and I recall he took me aside one day and told me what the priests wanted from him, and that was the day he quit being an altar boy. He said no, and left his altar boy stuff at the church and went home. And told his mom, I'm not doing that anymore. Why? And when he explained it to her, she said, no, there must be some kind of a misunderstanding. You didn't get that right. But that was not necessarily where I wanted to go with the riff. Maybe I just wanted to sit in that warm bath of nostalgia, thinking about the kind of sandals my grandfather used to wear, and not quite linen, but certainly lighter fabrics that they had back in the day that would help keep you cool on hot summery days like the kinds that we have been having lately. Short sleeves, yeah, we can do that. Do you need to wear the tie? Probably not. But those were good times. I fond memories of growing up around Guam in that time where you never heard too much about crime. I mean, we had guys that steal bikes, you know, and if you had a mini bike, you had to lock that up because somebody would steal it. You know, we always knew who these guys were and where they lived. So it's just a question of getting the truck and going to where they live and say, that's my bike, and take it back from them. Or we're going to call the police, because back in those days there was respect for the law. We had guys like Judge Abadi and MC Cruz out there, among others, that were enforcing the laws. And I don't recall us having a whole lot of laws either. But things change, and sometimes they never change back. 941-888-8255-888-TALK. Who do I get to play with? This is great. Everybody. My buddy Daryl Taggarty, fresh from writing editorials to the newspapers. Good morning, Daryl. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. You know, I didn't catch whether you ever finished reading my article over the air.
I don't think I did.
No, I don't think you did.
No, I don't think I got to, because you know how in the newspaper they broke it, so it was like one down one side, and I don't recall getting to the other. But it's online, right?
Yes, it is. And
okay.
Thank you so much for pointing that out. I wanted to say, you know, it might be an interesting thing for one or another journalist to do is to track the government of Guam's effort by, you know, staffing position and whether the position was effectively staffed where the government of Guam does a review of major land clearings and gives clearances for that to happen after the archaeological resources and the trees for rare trees have been assessed. I know that there's got to be something of the Department of Agriculture. There must be a position that's been funded over the last 40, 50 years, and whether it's been filled or not, or whether the person who's been the incumbent in the position has been competent or reassigned to something else.
Now, off the top of my head, I can think of one prominent land clearing that was started and then stopped and is now restarted. And I believe it's Dr. Safa's got a piece of property on Marine Corps Drive. Used to be the hitching post. Used to be the funeral home. Used to be A&W Root Beer, and the building next to it. It looks like that area is going to get cleared off for some kind of construction. And the answer is I don't know whether or not somebody either at the Department of Agriculture has gone in to identify whether there might be any rare plants or endangered butterflies in the area.
Well, my concern was...
and maybe that, you know what, it doesn't make any difference because it's on this side of the fence, but if somebody in the military tries to do something like that, oh my God, we're going to climb into every orifice with every possible rule there is.
Well, I do believe there is a requirement that before you do land clearing, that you get a permit. And so that permit process, and that's been on the books since the 1950s, 60s. So, and that was for large projects like Las Palmas, and those places where virgin jungle was being cleared. And I know a lot of jungle wasn't virgin because it got chopped up real bad during World War II on the base construction. Mm-hmm. And a lot of lands were crown lands. You know, they were under the government, basically, Spanish government and then U.S. government, since before 1900. You know, but the point really is that we've had in the government of Guam a policy and a position and a procedure for a person or an office to do these reviews, and I think it would be interesting for the people of Guam to know what it is that their government has said it's going to do, but at some point they just sort of stopped doing it. And, of course, this is what set up the problem that we're having, where we have to thank the military for saving some of the trees and whatnot. There's plenty of blame to go around for having destroyed them, you know, whether it's trees or birds or whatever. But yeah, I never swallowed that thing about the snakes wiping out the birds, because we had snakes and birds.
Yeah, it was what I think is somebody sprayed some kind of exfoliant out there, and that killed all the birds.
Actually, it was Operation New Life. It was the spraying for mosquitoes. That was
yep, and so it might have been. I don't know. The rumors have always been floating around about that, and everybody remembers. Yeah, before Pamela, there was this, or before the middle of the '70s, we always had plenty of birds, and there was no problems with it. And then something happened, and something got sprayed, and they all died.
Yeah, well, you know, and that would have also accounted for the loss of some of the bat population. It depends on insects during the dry season.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. I've never seen anything definitive about that in my life. Anyway, I got the LT on the line, so I'm going to let you run.
I'm looking forward to hearing him.
Yeah, I need to talk to him about CBD the confiscations and all of that, and see if we've got the final neck to grab on why there is these one-sided confiscations of what is essentially a legal product.
Well, you know, he doesn't have much of a job description, so it's okay. He's like a lady in waiting. That's fine. You know, he's like the only one in the government of Guam who's like that, which is okay. That's how we've got it set up. But it's the other guys who have things to do, and directors who have things to do, and I'd like to see some production.
Yeah, well, he is the acting governor today, so I'll see what the acting governor has to say about that.
He's got plenty to do.
Yeah, all right. Daryl, I'll talk to you pretty soon. 888-8255. Line 3 has got Josh Tenorio, the current lieutenant governor of Guam, and currently the acting governor of Guam, as governor is down in Chuuk, I believe. Good morning, Josh. How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. Good morning, Ray.
Welcome back. Love the pictures at the parade.
Thanks.
That was nice. Very colorful.
Well,
it was the Pride Parade, friends. Of course it's going to be...
laughing because there's even controversy or discussion about the colors of the rainbow in certain sectors of the movement. So, you know...
What? Wait.
There's one with brown and black and... Anyway.
Oh yeah. Somebody had said, shown me that. They're like chevrons on uniforms now. It will determine what you are. And I guess they've got one. I forget the name. What do you call the ones with the big buff gay hairy guys?
Oh, that would be a bear.
Bears, right there. Now as I understand it, there is one of the rainbow colors is just for bears.
It's very complicated. All humanity is complicated. I like it more simple.
I don't know. I was giggling. Somebody, I missed one of the Pride things that was going on last month, and I'd asked somebody. I said, "Did you go?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Are you gay?" And they said, "No." I said, "I wonder how many other people were just there because it was look, it's a Pride party. You know you're going to have a good time. There will not be any frowny faces, and everybody is going to have crazy fun." But I just worry that it might be appropriated and become kind of a July version of Halloween. Well, I'm sure that there's others that feel the same way. It's like, wait a second, this is our party, guys. You can come along, but appreciate it. But anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about was I'm trying to sort out in my head. There's a bunch of different stories on the confiscation of the CBD. Now, I spent some time, and enough of this has gone around. There's enough conversation about it. But my understanding is that ABC has had some of their CBD taken away. Payless had a whole bunch of CBD products that were confiscated as well. And originally, it was confiscated by people over at Customs who say that it was public health who told them that the stuff ought to be confiscated. Mike St. Nicholas had talked with Linda DeNorsey, and they said, no, it wasn't us. And then you wrote a letter to General Camacho suggesting that the button got pushed in his office.
Yeah, so, the point of that letter is, as you pointed out, it seems like there's so much hearsay going on to me. Let's try and just flush it out. I'm interested in finding a path to get these products onto the shelves so that people who need them especially probably a lot of your running buddies, need them to, for their care.
No, it was 4th of July, my friend Anna twisted her ankle. All I had was a regular mentholated liniment, but if had they not confiscated it from the Paylesses, we could have gone from where we were behind the courthouse over to Payless, buy some CBD liniment, and that could have brought her some almost immediate relief and maybe even some less long-term suffering.
Yeah, no. So for me, the purpose of that is I'm trying to figure out where the red tape is, and let's cut it and figure out if there are regulations that need to be changed or certain things that need, or if it's all in the clear, then let's get it out and let's get them back into the hands of the consumers that need them. That's kind of like where I'm coming from.
So, and kind of like a lieutenant governor's investigation. So what have you found so far?
Well, right. The only thing I can say is that, there's been, I hear there's been verbal discussions, and in my mind, let's see this in writing. And I'm in the school of thought that is, let's get these things in and put them on the shelf. And, this discussion about the FDA, we know that the federal government is behind. And if we're waiting for them to promulgate, I realize that there's a safety element here, but quite frankly, this is not a new thing. There are a lot of high-performing areas and places within the United States that are using these products, and I'm hopeful that this letter I sent yesterday will give us a pathway to put these things back into the consumers.
Yes, I agree. For another reason,
Right,
and
you asked me, for me, I feel like I don't understand, and it's not clear to me where the problem is. That's the purpose of this letter.
Well, the other bothersome thing is that this is going to stunt the development of what I think could be an interesting retail industry here on Guam, with people that might want to. I mean, there's no reason under the sun that I can think of why we could not grow legally hemp here and derive our own CBD, where the C stands for tomorrow. Or stores that pop-ups that might want to engage in the sales of this. I got a note from a mutual friend of ours, Sheila. She's out traveling in the States, and she sent me a picture of a pop-up tent that was loaded with CBD derived liniments and lotions and soaps and toothbrushes and toothpaste. Just all of these things that can come from hemp. I really think that there could be some kind of industry. We just got to figure out how to encourage it. And the fact that we've got people in uniforms going to Payless and pulling CBD stuff off the shelves, that kind of sends the wrong message, bud.
We're in the same boat, and sometimes I feel like maybe this is kind of like maybe the difficult part when government is trying to, the industry and the desire of the people of Guam, the voters, it's way in front of the government, and government needs to speed up. And I'm just hopeful that let's just push. I'm really on the aggressive side. Let's figure out the path and let's get them back on.
I hear you. Well, I'm glad to see that you are behind this, and hope we'll be able to, as Dan Aykroyd said in the movie, take this bag of snakes and lay them out straight for me, so we can figure out where this started and how we need to put a stop to it. If there's something administrative that we've got to do here, let's get it done. And I'd also like to see anything that was confiscated returned to the people that had it confiscated from.
I totally agree.
Yep.
Amen.
Well, dude, anytime you need dude, I'm telling you, we need Beer Summit, me and you.
Okay, good. Hey, by the way, I just wanted to, again, put a plug. I'm on my way right now to Barrigada for a memorial.
Yeah.
An airstrip. And so, I just want to remind everybody there's a bunch of memorials that are happening throughout the month. And, of course, some good celebrations. It's liberation season. I just want to ask everybody to come out and participate. And if you have a war survivor that's still in your family or in your neighborhood, in your place of employment, talk to them. This is a special time for our people. Let's remember the more than 1,800 service members from the United States that liberated our island. The more than 1,000 Chamorros that perished during the war. Let's celebrate our freedom and let's celebrate peace and friendship.
I hear that. The Kalagwak Memorial taking place at 10 o'clock up at Teeds, and be on the lookout for Joshie. And if you want to know where he's going to be tonight, should be over at the Carnival. Joe Guam and John Dank are performing tonight over at the Liberation festivities.
Come out.
Yep.
Thanks so much.
Right on, buddy. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. That's Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio on the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. I got to take a break, and we'll close the show with our typical broadcast brilliance on the other side of these.
Hafaday, this is Congressman Senicolas. Our office is currently visiting our villages, providing contact information for our office and taking any inquiries we may be of service with. All vehicles and staff are appropriately identified for your safety. Please feel free to let our constituent outreach team know how we can be of service to you, and thank you for your kindness.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Get a half-gallon of Minute Maid orange juice for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a half-gallon of Dairy Gold milk for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a $7 meal for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agania Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fundamental Writers, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
Breaking story on the Guam Daily Post. You can find that online at postguam.com. The Supreme Court has vacated the Tory conviction. First part of the article reads, the Supreme Court of Guam has vacated a conviction against Mark Anthony Tory Jr. after finding the Superior Court erred when it denied his motion to suppress. Specifically, the attorneys were looking to suppress body cam footage that had been taken of an interrogation of Tory shortly after partner Officer Piolo's death. The video shows Tory sitting in the back of his pickup in police custody following the incident and being interrogated by other officers for nearly 50 minutes. Should have been suppressed according to the lawyers, his defense lawyers, because the interrogation took place before Tory was read his Miranda rights, which allow a defendant to remain silent and seek legal counsel before answering any questions, a violation of the Fifth Amendment's prohibition against self-incriminations, the attorneys argued. Back end of the story, the Supreme Court determined the trial court should have granted the suppression of the body cam footage and vacated then the conviction. Tory has received an 8-year sentence and has been under house arrest pending the appeal of his conviction. This story obviously still developing. There will be more conversation on this and I imagine interviews from among many people on all sides of that very, very tragic case. It's a couple of minutes away from 10 o'clock in the morning. 888-8255. Got to do shouts to Rob Agagi, Sandra De Leon Guerrero, who has been with us all morning long. Absolutely running the loving the show. I appreciate that. Lisa St. Augustine is there. I got, who is it? Janae is on. Merz Garino, Afa, Joe Cruz, real Joe Cruz, telling the story about his grandpa Scamby, who wore white shirts, black slacks, and military shiny shoes every day and smelled like green aftershave. What is that green aftershave by men? What is that? Do you remember it? I can see the bottle with the little dimples in it.
Electric shave.
Is it?
As far as I remember, yeah, that goes way back.
Do you have? Is there an old school one that you like? Aftershaves?
Yeah, you know,
I like Old Spice. I always thought there was something nice about the
really,
smell
I'd
of
have
Old
to
Spice.
say so, because that's really what my dad wore. So, you know, that reminds me of Dad.
I can't find Pour Homme from Christian Dior. It's very, very difficult. They've got a couple of other different flavors, but I missed the distinctive disco 70s smell of Pour Homme by Christian Dior. I was at Duty Free the other day, and one of my girl friends was running around spraying this Bulgari on all of the guys and saying, that's what you need to smell like all the time. And I can't remember the name of it. I might find it and share it with you tomorrow when we do the Ray Gibson Show. Look, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and I got to clear out of here. I got other work I got to take care of today. It might involve, I don't know, driving up a mountainside. We'll see what happens. The radio station is KUSG Agutnia. For Blake Watson and Kevin Kerrigan and Michael Knight, my name is Ray Gibson saying thank you for watching or listening to the program. Catch me tomorrow morning at 6. Love you. Mean it. Bye.
HD3.
Tying the economy to the environment. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump touting what he calls his commitment to the environment at a White House event this afternoon.
When we innovate, produce, and grow, we're able to unleash technologies and processes that make the environment better while reshoring. And so importantly, you look at reshoring production all the way, taking it away from foreign polluters and back to American soil.
And hitting back at environmentalists who are critical of his administration for pulling